Oh, sorry. Hey, I was just testing my chair out. Sometimes it fails. Welcome back to the Dynasty. Howard at PA Howdy on Twitter. What are we doing? We talk about Dynasty for about 3 hours every night on Wednesdays from 9:30 till when we finally get to the last question. We do answer all questions that we can, but we do get to them in the order they show up in the feed. There's no real way to get to the top of the list. We just move down the order they came in. We try to move quickly while also giving a full breadth of our lack of knowledge on the question. So be patient with us. Maybe we hope you enjoy the stream. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, angry comments about how slow we move, because we move slow, drop them whatever comment box and whatever streaming platform you happen to be listening to. We have Dynasty Dummies Star. Yeah, I'm going that way around because I meant to say his name when I started off with his podcast, so we're doing it this way. Dynasty Dummies Star Zach Reed, at Tacit Assassin 13, and Russ Fisher will be joining us later, he says, but you never know with that guy. And yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment box. We'll be happy to talk. I want to start off today talking about timing before anyone else gets to say anything. This is the time I get to monopolize. Our stream's pretty fun for me. I was just talking about it with Zach, because again, Russ hasn't had the decency to show up on time again. God. Looking back, I spent so much time preening through my my model and looking at player profiles that I find myself making mistakes, forced errors, if you will. And I think it's because I've gotten so involved in this process, and so are you. If you're here now listening to our little stream, you're probably so deep involved in the process at this point that you're well past needing to know about sleepers. And I actually think it has this net negative effect, because looking back on my early years when I got so many lower drafted and underrated hits, that kind of made my bones a little bit, but it was because I wasn't in on point A. I figured it out by the time the draft was around. I was just learning players' names. Whereas now I know their full backstory by the time I know their mother's names by the time the draft is anywhere close. And I feel like some of them were easy to identify because the process is good. It misses. And this came up for me because someone was asking me about the David Bell miss so far. And yeah, definitely fantasy at this point. And I think that was not a forced error. I still like him. I still think he was good. I still think the signal's there. Everything I said before the draft is true now after his first year. That's really what I go for. But it was kind of an unforced error because looking back, Stephon Diggs and Kenny Golladay and these early hits that were lesser liked that I was definitely higher on than the crowd or most people, anyone on my timeline at least, I came into it late. So my process was decent and hopefully has gotten better. And they showed up really clearly, but it was after everyone had already fallen. Whereas right now, the top 5 wide receivers I have, not all of them are going to get first-round capital or even day 2 capital. And so it's going to feel like I don't know who's good deeper down in this draft class. Josh Downs could easily fall to the 3rd, 4th, 5th round this year because he's a smaller slot receiver in a small slot receiver class, and he's not exactly the best of them, but he's very good compared to most players who come in at that description. And so if I was coming in after the draft and that happens, Josh Downs would clearly stand out to me, whereas now he's very highly ranked and everyone just kind of nods along because, yeah, of course, yeah, fine. And so the values I'm looking for should already be at the top of my process. It just feels like I'm missing some further down because normally there's some further down, right? When in fact, those are just perennially, I'm going to have misses. I'm going to not notice Donald Mooney or Terry McLaurin. They're just really hard to get at with my current process or even my evolved process. So I don't know what I'm ranting about here, but I think it's really important to note that because you're starting it this early, it can feel like there's a sleeper hiding somewhere and you can try and force that issue. When in fact, the players you like right now, some of them will be less valued or misvalued by the time rookie drafts roll around. And that's where those guys come from. It's not the ones lower down in your process you're not yet being able to notice, because you just have to admit some players you're not going to know are great no matter what your process is before it happens or before you see something at least or before you see it proven. Just accept that we can't get anything right. And the ones that you really like with a process that's shown consistently to be good or above average, at least hopefully, those are the ones you're hoping other people get lower on. And this is a long way of going about saying, could you please just hate Jordan Addison? Just a little bit. He's a really small guy, low BMI, Combine Twitter. Come on, Combine Twitter. Do my work for me. I'm bored. It's getting hard. I need you to be your beautiful dumb selves and tell everyone to hate Jordan Addison. Please, I'm begging you. All right, let's go talk to Zach for a while because I could probably keep going on this begging Combine Twitter to get rolling thing for a while. Hey, Zach, what's up? How's it going? I tried to vamp, but there's no way it's just a few minutes that Russ is going to be gone. No. He's going to be gone for a few more than a few minutes. But what's up? What's new with you?
Absolutely nothing is new with me, Peter. We're still right in the throes of rookie season. I am done watching the top 5 quarterbacks and 5 of the top tight ends, and we're going to talk about them this week on the Dummy Hootenanny, and then roll into the catch-all show. So if you're watching, if you're listening, if you're in the chat, and you want to hear about some maybe under talked about players, feel free to drop me a line at Tacit Assassin 13, because we do the crowd participation portion of the Hootenanny at this point, where it's guys we missed, the catch-all show. So that's what's going on. Yeah.
Either you talk about Deuce Vaughn or we riot. I'm just saying. I'll instigate.
He's on my list. I crossed him out. It's a big X.
I need to hear J. Mike's take on Deuce Vaughn. It's just what I need to hear. It's what I need in my life at this point. And also, he and I are of one mind, which is really weird because he's got different software than I did. He got an upgrade at some point. I didn't get it, but we're in the same place on Tank Bigsby. I think we're both way too high compared to most people on him at running back position. I thought that was interesting. I hadn't heard anyone else.
But you may be all right with that. Like, he does a lot of things that.
No, I'm very much all right with that. Love it.
Produce, yeah. So.
Yeah. I think I'm on a Kenny McIntosh island, but that's fine. There he is. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going?
I ramped just as long and hard as I could. I even begged Combine Twitter for a minute. You know what I put up with for you?
I am the worst. I'm not worth it, but you do it every week for me, and I don't know what to say.
What's new with you, Russ? We should probably answer some questions at some point. But, I haven't seen you in a week, so I'd quite like to see you're okay.
Nothing exciting ever really happens. I get up, I take care of kids, I pretend to work, I pick up my kids, feed the kids dinner. Oh yeah, hey wife, you're home, and I can't be like, all right, hi, I haven't seen you in like a day and a half. I'm just gonna go podcast right now, so that's why I'm 10 minutes late, because I actually said hello to my wife.
Yeah, because you've got terrible priorities. We understand why you're late. You don't have
that's from the beginning. I've been saying that. Yeah, I am the worst, and I don't know why you
need to fix that. Paying attention to your wife, how terrible. I follow her. She does not follow me. I was recently, we said we should answer some questions, but for some reason I had to two-factor authenticate my Twitter account, and while I was there, I found my follow list, which I'd never been on before, and so it's a doom scroll. Like, it never stops till you get to the bottom. It doesn't. There's no like page 2, and you can think that's the end. So I just kept going, and I got sucked into this vortex for like an hour of just who is this?
Why are you looking at this?
Who I follow.
I have no idea who I follow.
A little bit, and I was just going through it, and I was like, why am I following this person? I'm pretty sure they hate me.
Would not
random players that I just wanted to check in on, I guess. I was still following David Johnson, and not that I'm not interested in David Johnson the person, but I feel at this point it's a little sick for some fantasy guy to be like following David Johnson around. Like, what you do now, Dave? Leave him alone.
I 100%. He's on social media. The point of it is to be followed. Honestly, it took me a while to actually get on board with. Like, why? Wait. I'm going to hit the like button, and they're going to see that some weirdo named Russ Fisher liked their stuff. That's legitimately me when I first started Twitter.
I had not thought of it that way. I'll be honest.
This brain. Yeah. But no, I absolutely follow at least double digits of deceased people on Twitter at this point.
I found a lot of accounts which are like no longer producing content.
Oh no, I mean like
literally people that was depressing as hell. Oh yeah, well I was trying to liven it up, but thanks for bringing
No. still
All
the way.
right. Yeah, let's
I'm
go
bringing
talk
it
to
down.
Ryan over here. He doesn't talk about dead people at all. Ryan, in the chat at 654, appreciate you. 12-team Superflex half-point PPR.
Yeah, like 2
tight end
hours after
premium.
he asked me this the first time.
Well, you didn't answer it right. That's the problem.
What
Start
do you
10.
guys say?
Kyler plus the 108 or Justin Herbert. I got it.
I mean, if it was Khalil Herbert, maybe.
I thought about it. I was like, Jay, could that possibly be a K? But no. I think if you're not competing, especially Kyler's, if you can stand not starting a quarterback for a significant period of 2023, yeah, sure. I
what if
think
you
this is
are
a little
competing?
low because Herbert's probably above Kyler even when he's playing and healthy, just because the Burrow and Herbert tier are clearly above Kyler, even if he gets back into the same tier. So it's a little light, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's probably the Herbert side, but it's not egregious.
So apparently, I answered correctly because Ryan was worried that felt a little heavy to go get Herbert, and I said no. That is absolutely fantastic price to go get Herbert.
Yeah. I want to be in on Kyler as well, but again, someone was asking me about this recently. My rank is I've gotten like 10th overall. That's pretty low for a guy who talks about his top 5 upside. I'm like, you got to accept reality. There is risk there. His value is lower. Why would you like him any more than you absolutely have to? I mean, Herbert's as good, if not better. When they're in the same tier, Herbert was preferred, for example, and we could talk about points per game as well. But so even when he's healthy, they're at least similar value, and Herbert hasn't had an injury, and he isn't smaller, and he doesn't have this anti-hype around him. So yeah, Herbert's probably value. I mean, realism is okay, you know. And the 108, even in the Superflex drafts, is a really nice pick. But
it's fine.
Not a quarterback. Hopefully it's Addison kind of a.
And I don't think he's falling to 108, but maybe. I mean, like
I think they said he could after the depend in a Superflex draft. Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe. There's a lot of people that like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis if they go early, and then you've got, Quentin Johnson, Truther could be in there, and that pushes.
Right. That's the maybe part.
Yeah. Well, I like talking, so I do streams and podcasts. Zach, I mean, come on. Break. Town Radmaker. For an orphan 16 Superflex with a lot of needs, including the starting quarterback, is offering the 101, the 213. Yeah, it's a 16-team league, so that does make sense. For the 103, the 109, and a 24 first. Well, don't call it the 213. I mean, if it helps, you should transfer it to our usual currency. That's a third-round pick. So the 101 and a third-round pick. So really, it's just the 101.
It's their league, and it's the 213. Why should he call it something different?
Because it's not. Because when you're looking at ADP or talking about values, or people say a second-round pick, I think they're usually referring to 12-team leagues. And in this case, that's not a second-team league in most content, right? If people say a second-round pick, they don't think the 213. They think the 212 max. And they're normally thinking of the 206. So that's just a third-round pick. If you're trying to relate it to other content that you hear. Does that not make sense?
Are we talking other content, or are we talking this question?
Well, I was talking about Todd trying to make a decision. He's not going to just do what we say. I was trying to help him out, trying to make a decision.
He's asking us
theme
because
of
we
the
give him
podcast.
the answer, and he does it. That's what you do when you ask.
That's not the way I see it.
To the experts.
No, I try to make content to help other people find ways of making good decisions for themselves, rather than me doing what I say.
So, Todd, I prefer
how good Zach was moving that along.
I prefer the first trade to your second trade, which is the next one down, which says for the same 16 team, 101 and 213 for 106, a 24 first, and Trey Lance, because I think you assume a lot more risk with Trey Lance than you do with the 103.
Which side is Todd's?
I assume Todd's is the 101.
For
and the
16
the 213
needs, including starting quarterback, is offering. He's sending away the 101.
That's what I'm saying.
For 103, 109, and a 24 first, or the 106. Oh, I'd take the 103.
That's what I said. I would rather have the 103, 109, and a 24. This still, it's not the. This is. It's weird because you're not as good as Bijan Robinson is, and Peter. This goes back to absolutely
16-team league, yeah.
Well, but it also goes back to absolutely your the content that you were putting out today, where running back is at an all-time low in terms of like the running back one going off the board, and the running back one is Bijan. So even though this pick should be getting an absolute haul, people are not valuing the running back position the way they have over the past 5 or 6 years. And so yeah, the 103, 109, and a 24 first feels light, but it's a starting quarterback in theory. It should be Stroud, Young, or Richardson.
Well, also,
I think
in a 16-team league, it is a 100% chance. I guess it's not a chance if it's 100%. Will Levis is going to go before the 109, in which case the 109 will be that Addison or Gibbs. So it's still going to be a really good pick for you.
Yeah, that's what's going to sway it for me. Like, I like this first trade rather than the second one. Yeah. For reasons. And it's a 16-team thing. It's less studs. It's more depth. Unfortunately, as much as depth sucks in general as a concept. And so, yeah, the fact you're getting 2 top 10 picks in a 16-team league matters a little bit more because of your league format. And literally the 3rd round pick, this 213 means nothing to me. And you're getting a future first as well, so it's a good building trade. What I would say is I'm still tempted. Like, I like this offer better, but like I think Bijan Robinson's, because of running back value right now, I think he can get more valued, and I think he will during and after his rookie season. Having said that, in a 16-team league, it's still hard to trade for a stud at a higher value than this. So this trade's probably fine, especially if you are building, which you seem to be.
In order for Bijan Robinson to get more valuable, though, he's got to have a cadre of other running backs who also have that value, because that's what we've seen is running backs get valuable when a running back class comes in. Running back got valuable because 2017 came in. So running back isn't inherently valuable because we have one great running back.
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
So.
But as the running back one, the position itself can rise up depth charts. For example, the only 2 wide receivers right now I have over him are Chase and Jefferson. Yeah. In that, I would trade them straight up without question or thought. I think he can get into that value tier during the season, which is an increase, if you know what I mean. But don't want to confuse matters here, Todd. Yeah, this trade's good, especially if your team's more building. Like, do you think not building, but more building than it is competing?
If Bijan comes in and puts up a top 5 producing season,
he'll be equal.
I feel like chances are he'll jump ahead of JJ.
He could even, yeah.
But it's got to be something for him to get ahead of some of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
People love running backs. I won't do it.
No, people love the flavor of the month. Have you seen Peter's tweet about the shift? So like,
I have him blocked. Why would I? No.
So have you seen my tweets?
I go out of my way.
They so fantasy. No, it's it's pretty good.
But after 2014, wide receiver was it, and had the top spots, and then all of a sudden 2017 came in, and we were like, it is. I always go back to the fantasy, and especially Dynasty. The community is in Hook, the Lost Boys, where they're trying to determine whether Peter is the guy or Rufio is the guy, and they're just going back and forth. And that's what we do is whatever the next big
that's
thing
a really
is.
good way of interpreting what's going on there, actually.
As a whole, yes, but I think no matter how low we are on the position as a whole, there's going to be 1 or 2 running backs, regardless of how good they really are, that people will say, I want that running back one. I want that workhorse. And they'll shove their way into earlier in the first than they should.
Maybe.
Not to, but like, I completely agree. And I love it when people shift towards running it back because that gets me more wide receivers. But yeah, I think he has a chance at pushing up his value a bit, but there really isn't that much to go anyway.
Peter, go to Randy. We got 2 questions in 25 minutes.
I can't help it if Russ can't spit out a simple answer without challenging my entire content platform. Whatever. Randy, 14-team Superflex PPR sent Elijah Moore the 307 for Zeke the 207 and the 311, which are third round picks. Thought I crushed it. Then 2 days later, the Rams get more. Sorry. Still like the trade. Don't love it though. Yeah, I don't hate this move for Elijah Moore. I don't like this move for Elijah Moore. I think it's fine. I tend to think player better than the situation anyway. He has passed to opportunity in both. There's still risk, but I don't think it's any greater or less. If anything, it's a little better because the team's gone out and gotten him, which is probably a more positive indication. But it is the Browns. So, yeah, I think you're fine. I think this trade's still good. Zeke's all points. Elijah Moore's all potential value. So it makes sense to me.
Yes.
Well, but he got Zeke, right?
Oh, yeah, shoot. He sent... Oh, yeah, you messed up last week. You didn't need the trade to miss. So, I mean, why would you trade?
I wonder, more important... Oh, so he did this after Zeke was cut also.
But, yeah, I mean, Zeke's probably going to end up landing somewhere. And
eventually. I was just trying to get a timeline.
Fine. Like, I don't hate it, Randy.
But I mean, is Elijah Moore worth that much more than the 207?
No, but he got the 311, the 207, and Zeke.
Right. So, that's still a decent value. It's not bad. It just, you feel a little worse because Elijah Moore might be in a better position.
Yeah, again, I'm not performing a trade calculation on it. I'm saying which I think Moore should be worth more than the 207. And to me, like, I would run Elijah Moore before, during, and after. Right, like right now, too. But it's fine. Like the 207 balances it for value. I don't think he tanks a team or nothing. Yeah. Anything over the 208 is probably worth trading for. It's just I would rather keep Elijah Moore's potential. Or not. Okay, cool. Puff pass kick. Peter, how many David Bell shares did you have to obliterate in the last hour? It's your time to shine, Captain. Obtain none, man. I haven't made any trades. I actually did spend. I did spend today looking over my league, seeing if there are any offers. Like, for all the degeneracy, they're putting out content everywhere, but there ain't no trade offers in my inbox. I got one asking if it was like the pick 1.40. If you want to twist your minds on whether that's a first round pick or not, because it's a really weird league. Essentially, it would have been like the 108. And he was wondering if he could get to Justin Jefferson. Like, that's the only trade comment or question or inquiry I've had in a week. I'm like, yeah, sure. If you add the value of Justin Jefferson, we can start talking. Like, what would
it take for me to get this? Send an offer and we'll find out.
I love it when those teams that have been dominant for completely selling out for points are like, oh, and now I'll just easily swindle someone for Justin Jefferson. I'm like, no, man, that's a bargain you met. And also, you didn't dominate me. I was up there in the top 10 in that 100-team league with you, and I have Justin Jefferson. So maybe listen to my content. Wait. Andy, if you're listening, I'm joking. Solid dude. Great content, and he's built a really good team. But, it was frustrating.
Jefferson? I'm not in that league, but can I have Justin Jefferson?
I mean, if you add the value of Justin Jefferson.
But I have the 108.
If you add the value of Justin Jefferson. But yeah, anyway. So no, I haven't had a lot of trade offers at all. The best trades I've made in the last month have actually been for Elijah Moore.
Randy's taken over orphans.
Yeah, right. Took over an orphan 12-team PPR, half-point tight end premium superflex with no QB2. No first or second round picks. You're building. Sent Hollywood Rashad White for Cousins, Zeke, and
that's great.
That's an awesome trade.
You went the other direction and effectively, yeah.
Good for you.
You got Cousins plus. Yeah, neat. I was going to say you're probably making more building trades, but you just turned your team into a competitive one. I like it.
Is Rashad White a thing?
Rashad White's undervalued right now.
Until the draft. No, Fournette's been cut. They'll draft somebody, and then Rashad White will go back into oblivion like he was before.
They brought in someone already that was...
Yeah.
Was that Chase Edmonds? Is that where Chase Edmonds went?
I will have to effort that.
Yeah, I don't know. But, like, they already brought someone in, but, like, I don't know. Especially with Brady on what's that offense going to be. But I feel like Rashad White lost value for no reason.
He did. Like, that's
Fournette got cut, and Rashad White lost value.
He has
I don't get
to
it.
navigate the obstacle of the draft, but he was still a decent prospect to a team that we wanted him to go to. And
Yeah.
like you said, the obstacle got cut. And yet he's fallen in back. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting running back.
It was
ad,
Edmonds,
but,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I mean,
not
he has
nearly
been
this
good, but he
interesting.
wasn't last year. Yeah,
But that,
no,
like I
that's-
said, they'll draft
awesome.
somebody, and it will.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, meh.
There's-
Yeah. Maybe.
Excuse me.
It's a deep class.
It is. It's very.
Thoughts on Michael Thomas?
I think
Is
this
he a
a terrible
buy?
draft
Yes.
class. Is
That's that thing. How much would you pay for him? All right, you're out of timeout. Stop sulking.
is he technically still on the Saints?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he reworked his contract.
Did he?
Michael Thomas, yeah, like Cooper Cup's a value right now. Michael Thomas is proven but older wide receiver. Cup's obviously more valued, should be more valued, but Michael Thomas, yeah, I mean, he's probably still good, and people just want to forget him.
I
People
mean-
get, like you said about the flavor of the month, people get awful bored of players haven't been great recently. If you know what I mean? It's like there's always value in that in Dynasty. It's like, I mean, everyone's all ready to move on to the next thing. It's like we begged for these guys. We begged for get them on our team, and now
If
like
they're
I'm
not studs, they're
bored.
nothing.
Michael Thomas has been around forever. I want him to be bad now. I'm like, it's probably not. What do you want?
I would probably give a mid-second and feel okay with it. Like, I feel like you're going to hit that 206, 207. It's just like, all right, I could take a ridiculous dart throw and maybe get a wide receiver 3 out of it. Or I can get this guy that will be a wide receiver 3 at worst, assuming he actually gets on the field.
It's very consistent. Rankers versus ADP do that consistently. It's just they're very deep on guys who have done good before that everyone else wants to move on, and they're just willing to draft them 20 spots higher or so. Not a lot. Not going to boost them into the top 100 picks, but 20 spots higher, and you rack up all these great players, or at least hit on a couple. And Michael Thomas is in that category. Just like him as a mid-second, and that's good, I think. Zach, sorry I'm interrupting. What are you going to say?
No, it's he got basically a 1 year up to $10 million. I think it's 6.25 million, but could go up to 10.
Still
And then
really good.
and then they basically have to cut him before the league year starts in 2024, or they owe him a lot more money. So it's a 1 year prove it. Like, let's see. And man, that'll like Derek Carr is such an interesting quarterback because he throws to his pre-snap read more than anybody in the league.
Whether he's open or not.
And Michael Thomas running slants is a real nice pre-snap read.
Yeah. It worries me for Olave a little bit.
Yeah,
Now that Michael Thomas is still there.
Yeah, I think a lot of 2022 wide receivers are going to disappoint, to be honest, and Olave is probably top of the list. But that's a separate subject. What I was going to say is Derek Carr's interesting. He's one of the most disappointing quarterbacks to have supported 2 top 24 wide receivers twice. Like, that's a really good list to be on. And then there's Derek Carr. There's like Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and then Derek Carr. It's really weird. Must be accurate while he's doing it, I guess. That's why I was going to agree who is an interesting. Okay, moving on. Randy Wyatt, then sent Saquon, and we're continuing on from this one.
After getting Cousins.
Where he got Cousins. Yeah, he's building a killer here. Traded Saquon and Mostert for the 107, 206, and 207. So he went back the other direction. Okay. I think that's a little light for Saquon.
I'd probably want more than that for Saquon.
See, I get it because
Especially since you just made that trade to make your team more competitive, and now you're getting rid of Saquon. I'm like, I don't know about that.
yeah,
But I mean,
I get wanting to work yourself towards a middle when you first take over a team. And usually that means getting rid of your running backs, and then you like, oh, I got Saquon, I could move him. Probably sent a couple offers out and then wasn't getting interest, and then someone offered the 107. And he's like, well, that's the best I'm getting, and I'm just going to take it.
yeah.
It's light, but you're like, if you walk away with Gibbs, I guess you don't feel terrible.
I mean, I think he's just trying to meet the needs of the orphan, right? He's identified there's no
Yeah.
quarterback 2. He went out and got one. It's got no pick, so went out and got
It's
him.
college.
I get it, but you're kind of building towards a starting point when I think you could have rolled up one direction or the other. You could have gone above a mid. But yeah, Russ said it best.
Yeah. I don't think you're getting Gibbs at 107, though. Again, like looking at this class, I think you're looking at Bijan. I think you're looking at 3 quarterbacks, and then you're looking at, so now you're at 105. Then you're looking at Gibbs and JSN, 105, 106. And
Wait.
then, three
Gibbs and
quarterbacks,
JSN.
one
And then
running back,
7
a running
is-
back, a wide receiver. So now you're
and
at
this is 12
107.
teams, so there's really much less of a guarantee that Levis will go early.
I think Levis. I don't think Levis should go in the top. I think Levis should go after JSN and Gibbs.
I agree, but it's all about who pushes up because he's an early drafted quarterback.
That doesn't matter to me. Having watched Levis, there's no way I take Levis over, even if he goes if Carolina traded up to get Levis at 101, I'm still not taking Levis over Gibbs and JSN. I'm not.
That would be embarrassing, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
if Carolina did that.
I wouldn't surprise me if they went up to get Richardson, which is also a little embarrassing, but interesting anyway.
At least that is exciting. Yeah. There's nothing exciting right now about trading all that to go up for Levis.
Yeah.
But it's still wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to stand by. You should take your shot if you think Richardson has that upside or Levis is going to be a solid quarterback. I get it, but there's no way I'm taking a mystery quarterback. Outside of the top 2, there's no way I'm taking quarterback over my top 4 skill position players. They're just too good, in my opinion. Addison, JSN, Gibbs, and Bijan Robinson come off the ball before anyone outside of Stroud and Young for me.
I'd still take Richardson.
I know, and solid. I think that's smart too. It's just I have nothing to help tell me if that's good or. I like to profile the player, but you're right. The upside's set. Yeah.
And I love it because I still feel, assuming he gets drafted as early as he should, then you got to put him up there because it's Trey Lance. It's exactly what it is.
No,
not he. The situation.
Yeah.
The guy who's athletic, who we don't really know what he is as a passer. We don't know. Well, we know what Richardson is as a passer, but we dream of that upside, and that's what Lance was, especially when he landed in San Francisco so early. We dreamed of the upside of him in that offense. If Richardson goes to Indianapolis right now, who traded for Jalen Hurts as offensive coordinator, that's going to get a lot of people excited about it. So I think that's the chance. I think if that happens, without a question, he's going to be in that range of those 3 quarterbacks. Probably sometimes the 102.
Who? Richardson?
Yes.
I'm
not saying it's right. I'm saying it's what will happen.
If you think it, you should take him 101. I mean, screw it. He's got more upside than Bijan Robinson if he hits, technically in a super flex.
Well, but he's also got more risk, Peter. It's a cost-benefit analysis. I'm saying, if you're... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If your cost-benefit analysis pushes you to Richardson can do that, then if that's where your process takes you, you should be willing to, not that you have to.
Because there's definitely people Matt Price and Jake
who
love those rushing quarterbacks and just put that above anything else.
And when it pays off, it's magnificent.
They'll put people at the 102. They'll put Richardson at the 102. Oh, Derpson, you're a koala. That's adorable. That's not derpy.
10-team 2 QB. What tier of quarterbacks would Goff, Stafford, plus the 104 and the 106 get?
All of that?
One or the other. Goff or Stafford, you say?
You're not going to get the top 3, but I'd start at 4. Yeah. You'll probably get rejected a lot, but it's worth it. That's where you could start. Start at that Burrow Herbert. See what happens.
Yeah, especially Herbert coming off the bad year.
He was QB6 with no one to throw to.
23 points a game. Yeah.
That's what I said to Ryan when he's Herbert, and he's not a rushing quarterback. I'm like, dude, you don't know. He was the QB5 and throwing to me as a wide receiver. He'll be fine when they draft wide receivers. You don't got to worry.
Yeah, Derp, I'd say start there and end there. There's no point in trading into a quarterback below that range. Lawrence and to Herbert, that's where you're trying to get. And if not, you're fine with Goff and Stafford. Anything else you get is just more valued, but not better. So.
Yeah, after you hit Lawrence and Fields, stop.
Fields, it's not.
the value is there. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah,
if you,
yeah. I like
even
this.
if you turn
I
around and
want him to
trade
work.
Fields, you could probably trade him for something better than this.
That's fair. Hurricane Lane, what's up, guys? I'm proud to say my first Dynasty Nerds article was published
congrats!
today.
That's freaking
Nice.
great.
It's awesome. Thanks for all you do. What are you guys doing with Elijah Moore? Big Elijah Moore question. Thanks very much. Say hello to Jason Stein for me. He's awesome too over there at Dynasty Nerds.
I never had an article published on Dynasty Nerds.
I mean, either. Like I don't even think they follow me. I'd have to check. Let me just go doom scroll.
I
for a
sat
while
next
and
to
I'll find
Rich
out.
once. Does that count?
I think that counts. I think that's the IRL equivalent of a follow. Yeah, a mid-second, I'll take Elijah Moore. I like the player. I'm betting on those potential points.
Because
Mid-second,
like,
nonsense flex.
this is the situation like that Peter has always said. Like, this isn't a time where his value should go up. It's a time where people would be willing to move him now. Like,
That's a good one.
if it's what it should be, I would go by Elijah Moore. But if people like are starting to want an early second for him because he's in the new shiny place with the up and coming, the coming back Deshaun Watson, like up and coming doesn't really work because he upped and I don't want to finish that. But I'm not willing to pay a higher price. But if I can get him for the same price, but someone's just like eager to let it happen now, I would still go get as many Elijah Moore shares as I can.
What's the same price though? Because he just went over the
Up and
2-0.
came. I got it. Sorry. Just
You weren't supposed to say that out loud, Peter. Especially not for that.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Anyway, what are you saying, Zach?
I don't have any idea.
He went over what? Oh, in our draft?
Hey man, it's your mind. If you take it someplace that it's not meant to go, that's not on me. I forgot what I was going to say there too. I think that's a really interesting point. Like everyone says hold, and I'm going to buy this value, and very few people think they have the stamina to suffer through a hold, like Elijah Moore or a tight end drafted in the first round in fantasy rookie drafts. By the time you get to month 2, you're like, man, is there not something? Can I not do it already? It's like, no, man. It's a stamina game, and it's not fun, and you shouldn't do it a lot. That's why you shouldn't buy a lot of sleepers or invest in a lot of potential, or maybe a boats. I mean, there's not a lot of quick turnaround when it comes to it. And so by the time news comes up, they're like, you know what? I'll try and use this to move him, and they'll accept the value he actually was already. So yeah, I think that's a good point.
I got into a very intense conversation, I will call it, with a good friend, so we weren't actually arguing, about correlation between startup value and trade value, because we were talking. I pulled a me. Let's put it that way. I sent him an offer for Calvin Ridley, and he rejected it. So I replied to the email with all capital letters, "Give me Calvin Ridley," with a lot of exclamation points. Like that. That's people ask, "What's my trade style?" That's my trade style. So he sent me back like.
I would not recommend emulating that. By the way, some people can get away with some things. Everyone else,
don't.
Like, I'm never trading with this guy again. But when it's
do
Russ,
as I say,
like,
not as I do.
It's just Russ. It's just
it's just Russ. But he sent back like
that's
Calvin Ridley plus something for the 109 and 206, and I'm like, bro, no. and his response was, I've been in a bunch of startups, and Calvin Ridley and with the rookie draft picks in it, and that's around where Calvin Ridley gets drafted. I'm like, we're not drafting right now. We're trading. That's different. And the reason I brought that up because Zach said, well, Elijah Moore in the Trade Addicts 11 draft, which of course is 1. He got drafted 3 picks ahead of the 203. I still don't really think that equals trade value, but also that led to me writing my Dynasty trade post article about Calvin Ridley just to validate myself, and I was absolutely right. His trade value is much lower than that. But back to all of that, yeah, if I can go get Elijah Moore for like the 205, I'd probably do that a couple of times.
I don't think I would, but
I like Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I mean, Elijah Moore is fine, but you've also had 2 years outside of 3 weeks that he was a disappointment, which tanks his value. So, like, you're at a point now where you're trading for Elijah Moore for points.
Yeah, he's got to score points or it's a miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably like I was in on going to get him when you could get him for a mid-late third because of this.
Did that
Never
happen?
found that window.
What do you mean? Did that happen? Like he was nothing for a while.
I had to pay a second where I got him.
Well, then I wouldn't.
But I mean, that's fine. In your league doesn't discount the theory.
Not in my league.
But yeah, I was willing to take a little bit more risk up to that, and I still am. So it's the same place for me. But yeah, long discussion, and we're all agreeing. So we should probably, roughly agree. No, Zach's different. Zach's always built a little different. Gary, how you doing? Are there any landing spots that would give you pause on budget? No. I mean,
San Francisco.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say behind Christian McCaffrey was literally what I was going to say. I was like, maybe, yeah.
But
Saquon Barkley, behind Saquon Barkley was
But
yeah, like as long as he doesn't land with another workhorse.
Yeah.
Like that's really it. Like that was
even
always
then,
the
I'd
joke.
probably be like, buy the dip.
Where's the bad landing spot for Saquon Barkley? Dallas behind Zeke.
College.
You know, like that's what it always was. As long as this person doesn't land with another workhorse, which would be the dumbest thing ever anyway, then they're fine. So I really there is no realistic bad spots.
Yeah.
And if he did, I'd probably be trading for the 102. But yeah, that's the answer. Thank you. Pat, Rick, I like what you did there. I see what you did, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Is Lamar a buy low candidate? Well, yes. Yeah, I mean, yes. If you can get him low because of this, yes, definitely. What's low, though? I think he's in the Justin Herbert range of value, like very, very easily for me. That's where he belongs. And anything below that, like if you can get him for Gofford and 2 later round first picks, like we were just talking about, buy Lamar. Yeah. Russ is staring. I'm wondering if he's shocked at my valuation.
No, I'm super zoned out. I saw Higgins was trending on Twitter, and I'm always terrified something happened to T. And nothing did happen, but I saw some really bad Dynasty takes, and I just froze. I'm sorry.
Top 12 Dynasty wide receiver. Someone on Twitter asked a question. Actually, it's a CD Carter spam account, who I always enjoy.
It's really
I think I'll fit him in later because otherwise he's cutting the line and that just feels wrong. Equity Loan, who asked at 936. Did Elijah Moore value go up after the trade to the Browns, in your guys' opinion? We think it's a lateral move. Opinion. We think it's a lateral move.
Pretty lateral.
Same thing. Josh.
It's pretty lateral, Josh.
Right. A Facebook question. That's why it looks weird. You're on Facebook. Thank you, Josh. You're our first one that's not Ryan McDowell. Like Ryan McDowell likes it on Facebook because he's the only one. Me and you, Josh. Me and you forever. Thank you. Thoughts on Elijah Moore in Cleveland? Unfortunately, we've covered this a few times, but I think it's a lateral move. I think if anything, it's positive that they went out and got him instead of a belief that he can. But it's neutral.
I'm going to disagree a little bit there because I think there's a lot clearer path to being on the field for Elijah Moore in Cleveland. There was not a path to being on the field in New York. Peter, there wasn't. Like, there was Garrett Wilson. There was Alan Lazard, who they just traded for. There are the 7 other people that they're going to trade for because Aaron Rodgers wants them there. And he had a fight with both the GM and the quarterback that was there before in Zach Wilson. Like, there was not a path for Elijah Moore. And I do think there is for Moore in Cleveland because Cleveland is pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree because I think we're coming out at the same place. It's what I was hoping, a clear positive that they traded for him came from. But I just disagree that Lazard's any more of an obstacle. Like, I agree Wilson, but I don't think Lazard's any more of an obstacle than another.
It's a positive that Cleveland traded for Moore, but it's not a positive that the Jets went and got Lazard.
Well, like I said, I think we're coming out in the same place. But yeah, teams make. I mean, Green Bay's been betting on Lazard a few different times. Like, I'm also inserting my expectation that they can do it. And I think
Jets
Lazard's
are betting on Lazard.
Player, but
Jets are betting on that brings Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think Elijah Moore is better than that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's same. I understand the discrepancy in what I
Well,
said.
but, I mean,
there, but
Elijah Moore
it's
was
because
better
I'm
than that
upset my
last
own
year too, and he was
evaluation.
buried on the Jets
Yeah.
depth chart.
And
Like
I
Braxton
was hoping it
Berrios
would be.
was running
Yeah,
the
but now
routes
he's in
that-
Miami. We don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, I can believe players can overcome situations with talent, or I can't. I can't mix and match it. So I was just. I mean, I've been doing the same thing with Juju. And again, I think he's pretty good.
But Juju has
I can
been
be
good.
wrong. Yeah,
Had
bad stretches and a bad time, and I got told over and over again, well, look at this guy they just traded for, and this guy on the depth chart. And I'm just saying, yes, you're right. I'm definitely not a genius. I'm not a better talent evaluation. I just think this, and so that's what I'm running with. It's consistent. It's what I'm doing. And you know, I have my misses. I can't even say that. Dr. Finger Popping is Okonkwo. That's how you say it, right? Okonkwo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Going to be a guy now with Hooper heading to Vegas.
He's always been a guy.
At the end.
guy.
He's always been a guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He was at the end of the season anyway.
He's a tight end who is not Travis Kelce, Pitts, Andrews, Kittle.
And he's not even Goddard, Hawk.
Right.
Yeah, he's one of those lower level guys that is part of your streaming core.
As a rule, I mean, it's fine to take deep shots. Like a Okonkwo can't be worth more than a third for a random example, right? So it's not bad, but like I think you can get by an Austin Hooper, or you can buy an Evan Ingram, or trade for these guys, and the upside's more certain, even if there's not that much upside, and there's less risk in buying a maybe.
Holy cow!
I think Goddard's probably one of the mispriced at the position. What?
No, I was just scrolling for tight end tweets, and I just saw one from Foster Moreau that said, through a somewhat miraculous process, this free agency period has been life-changing for me. The Saints medical team, during a routine physical, found out that he has Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow.
Like how? What? Like
that's not the first time I've heard that story.
Yeah,
that's cancer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I will absolutely outlier this. Mario Lemieux played through it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's not.
I think that should probably be fairly low down on his list of decisions to make. To be honest, right now, but yeah,
it is it is one of the more curable.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's still
good.
Not great. It is not great.
Wow.
That's
good luck to him.
Seriously, that's.
Foster Moreau's done stuff for us, and even if he hadn't, I should be wishing him the best.
I'm so glad they found it. Like that's all I could think to say.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail thing. I just happened to be.
No, that's
shout out to the Saints medical team. Good job. Yeah. I mean, god dang. FF Spaceman gives us a hat tip. Plagiarist. Appreciate it. Equity loan. Looking forward to your guys' tight end evaluation this year. I'm just starting. I think Zach's pretty far along or further along in it.
I have watched 5 guys.
At Dynasty Dummies Hootenannies, bound to be coming out in the tight end position very soon. I recommend it. I'll be listening to it as long as I've got deep enough into my evaluation. I like to have some idea before I come out of my burrow, as J. Mike Check put it on one of the most recent episodes. And I do try and shield a little bit, because I'm very easily led by other people. It's just, I really am. I'm like, you think good things? I want to think good things. Or the opposite. Bryce, why can't I say
Langenfeld?
Like a serious fault for a historian. You know, it's like not remembering dates, which is also a problem I have. Is it time to bring up the Bateman versus Elijah Moore? And Bateman over Elijah Moore. It's between the two, I think I've always been higher on the Bateman side. I think especially right now. But like Zach says, Elijah Moore in Cleveland's it's at least not negative.
Yeah.
It's at least not negative. Sorry. That's just a wonderful phrase.
I'm not good at finding middle grounds. But yeah, guys, any debate between the two? Would you seriously consider them even, or like? No, I think Bateman
fairly. easily.
The Bateman values and purely market losing its head in force. With Elijah Moore, there are serious concerns there. Like, I don't know why. I'd like to just blame it on the quarterback and the staff, but honestly, my belief is he should have, like, that shouldn't happen if he's good. So I have questions myself. But I think it was just the situation and the coaching staff and the quarterback being a dick. But what do I know? Pardon me.
It shouldn't happen if he's elite,
yeah.
But I don't think he was
Well,
ever elite. Like, that's the thing. Like, he's kind of beholden to.
I think he kind of had an elite profile, but not
he had
Addison.
three games. Yeah. He was fine
in the NFL. I'm still defaulting to his college profile.
No, Peter, no.
Yes, yes. Whereas Bateman got hurt, and literally the exact value cycle we saw coming after the middle of his first year has happened. Like, I mean, we could still be proven wrong because confirmation bias is a thing, but like Bateman has never done bad. There's never been a question. It's just people thinking they're smarter than they are. That he'll definitely do top 12 now. It's like, no, passing offense won't do that. Then it doesn't. Then he gets hurt, and everyone's like, oh, we were wrong. It's like, no, you just had wildly stupid, misled expectations. I can't.
I like fired up, Peter.
I try not to. I try not with the insults, but it was a really silly expectation for Elijah Moore not to be a top 12 wide receiver. And honestly, through the first 3 weeks, because of efficiency, because again the volume didn't do what it shouldn't have done, because that was a weird expectation. He was actually pretty close because he was doing well. And then he got hurt, and like, it's the entirely Elijah Moore. Serious problems happen. We can't really explain it. Bateman got hurt. Different. If the value is equal, then it's Bateman all day. That's my 2 cents. 4 cents. One set of 2 cents for each player. Joe McCarter, 12-team super. When did we decide I should be the host? Come on. 12-team Superflex, 3 wide receiver. Give the 107, the 109, the 207. The 211 and Javonte Williams get Chase.
Yes. Get Chase.
Yes.
Oh my! Yes.
Nice work, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can trade for Jamar Chase, you should probably do that. And this is actually a banger. Like, that's winning. Yeah. I don't think I've ever said banger before, and it felt unnatural, and I want to apologize. That's how bad.
It felt weird.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I don't think I should have gone for that. But
do we need to put mash with it, and then you're okay because you're colloquial?
Honestly, that would still feel weird.
It's a banger and mash. I don't think that even worked.
But like, I don't know if I've ever really heard Peter use anything like we Americans consider English colloquialisms.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching Jimmy Carr highlights. It came on autoplay on YouTube when I was doing stuff, and he said 2 timing, and it was only then that I realized that's an Englishism. Like, 2 timing is when you cheat on someone with someone else.
Oh yeah, but no, that was like 1940s.
And it's very easy to figure.
That was like 1940s America. 50s.
No, but that's the thing. It's like a very common English, like we teenagers say. Well, I said it all the time growing up, and I just hadn't heard it. Like, I don't know English colloquialisms because I'm not surrounded by them. That's how little attention I pay. Like, I only know the stereotyped English colloquialisms because I don't. Sorry, this is an aside. It was weird. I was like, I remember that term. That sounds so wrong. I haven't heard that in years. Anyway, where are we? BDAGs, 12 teams for flex. Tight end premium, start 10. Have teams interested in Sanders, sell. Kittle, hold. What would you value those 2 wide receivers at in a trade? Kittle, because he's a tight end. It's a difficult valuation, but it's like a low first round pick. For Kittle, just Kittle, I think he's got that upside. I like it a lot. But you have to be in the right team situation, because he's a tight end and slightly older.
I've seen a whole bunch of people taking Hawkinson over Kittle. In fact, in the February ADP for DLF, Kittle is the tight end 6.
I thought he was 4, actually.
Oh, he is 6.
6? Yeah, it's really high. It's why Goddard's low. To be frank, it's because people prefer Hawkinson, and there's no real reason to.
Zach has shown me the light on Kittle.
Yeah. Kittle should be
or more or less he pointed out that I was dumb is really what
no but like
because I
he does that doesn't he? He's always done the same thing to me. It feels bad.
We get stuck in the what have you done for me lately? What
Yes.
happened this season? And we looking like, yeah, he missed this many games, and he did crap for these games. And then you're like, oh, right. But he played through an ankle injury and had to block because half their offensive linemen was hurt. But once they came back and he was healthy, he started scoring like a top 3 tight end again.
Yeah.
And, oh, well, shit. Tight end 4.
Yeah. And so that's to me, Kittle is not the guy I would trade. Sanders, I would trade.
I would trade Sanders for about the same value, would you say, though? That late first would be.
I don't think you're getting a late first for Sanders.
Okay. I was hoping with the trade. Maybe.
Yesterday we recorded Dynasty
last
Wall
season.
Street, and I was going to bring Miles Sanders to the party because I love him in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to do my research is a very strong word. I go to look up what his value was in the Dynasty trade calculator. It was worth 110. I'm like, this ruins my conversation because no one is going to be close to taking Sanders near the 110.
No.
Hey, that's about what I said. That's awesome.
But that's so wrong, Peter. So exactly,
I know. Yeah, that's very wrong.
So that's a problem.
I would trade him way.
But put both of them together, and you should be able to get 107.
I mean, he had a great season last year. He got a trade, which people can get hyped up on.
To a team that was so bad, yet Deonta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard were running for 200 yards a game each.
Yeah.
So, I think Sanders can be very good.
I think Sanders should be fine, but I would sell it, if you know what I mean.
But again, you would sell it, but I don't think you're getting what you would want to sell.
If I get an early second for Sanders, I'm happy.
I'm probably not, because I feel like Sanders is going to give me production like what an early second is going to give me.
I mean, my assumption. Okay, that's fair. I was assuming by selling 2 people that are older than 25 that you're rebuilding.
Yeah, and if you're rebuilding, that's fine.
Yeah,
but your chances of hitting
know
on
why
an early second. I'd rather pair my second with Sanders and try to move up, or put something with Sanders. I feel like
that's why I said both of them together.
Yeah, I don't want
to sell Kittle either. I know, but they're talking that they want to, so I'm helping them if they want to.
I appreciate that.
I answered the question in front of us. You answered the smart way.
But that's how I try to approach. If I have a player that I think is worth more than the value I can get for them, I will pair them with other players to get that value. But that's how I operate. When I identify the rookie class that I want to get into, and I'll trade 2 players who are worth second-round picks and get a second in the next draft class and a first in the one after. So, anyway, sorry, B-Dogs.
According to March ADP, Miles Sanders is below Jacoby Myers.
I just drafted Jacoby Myers at the 1308.
Yeah, he's 98 overall in this ADP.
Is Miles Sanders still on the board?
No. He is not.
That seems low.
Speaking as a guy who needs running backs, he is not.
I think ideally you do it next. You put a second with Sanders and you try and go upwards. But yeah, Sanders is one I'm tempted to trade his value away. Kittle, just keep.
You have Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, and Isaiah Pacheco.
Like I said, I need running backs.
Fair enough.
Randy Wyatt, can we get a preview of the Anthony Richardson?
No.
Sorry, Randy. I tried. Mitchell Wood, what's a proper price to pay for a light? We've been through this a few times. I think a mid-second. Zach says if you don't get them lower than that, you're probably overpaying.
I would love to start and
probably
see
not
if a 24
24 seconds seems perfectly fine to me.
I would love to try that.
Definitely not. Okay, Jeannie, I get it. Devin Stately, 12-team Superflex PPR start 11, recently traded Tua Waddle in the 107 for Deshaun Watson in the 105 and 224 first. Thoughts?
I'd rather have Tua Waddle in the 107.
I was. It would have to be something ridiculous for me to not pick Tua and Waddle.
Yeah.
So
I think Waddle's worth more than the 224 firsts.
Yeah.
The 107 and the 105 are similar enough, and
Superflex,
I'd rather have Tua than Watson, although it's not like a
honestly,
huge.
their value isn't super far apart. I mean, this. I mean,
but I think to me, it's giving up Waddle.
I guess like Deshaun Watson is technically young enough to the point where if you're rebuilding, it's fine to go chew him. But unless you have like nothing on your team besides Tua and Waddle, you build around Tua and Waddle. Like, I don't know.
It's not a bad
I mean, you get 3 firsts, but I understand it.
If
you consider Deshaun and Tua to be the same thing.
Yeah, like no one's trading.
But you're adding Waddle a first. No, I think it's just the Tua and Waddle side. It's 2 firsts for Waddle essentially, and also
don't get me wrong.
Taste of
The 105
I kind of like Tua better than Deshaun.
Tua
Tua passing to Tyreek and Waddle versus Deshaun passing to Elijah Mitchell and who else?
Elijah Moore.
It's a
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 5-star recruit.
I didn't laugh.
Okay, I think we made the point. Logan, which, if any, running backs would you pursue with Darnell Mooney and a late second? I don't pursue a lot of running backs. So the list of running backs I pursue
Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, or Isaiah Pacheco.
Chubb?
You're
not too high.
That
no,
it's too high.
Like
if I'm doing that,
you send that
for
first. You send that for Miles Sanders.
Yeah,
Darnell Mooney and Sanders feel even, but
no, Sanders ahead of Mooney.
Mooney that wasn't the case before DJ Moore went over to Chicago. Like no, Mooney tanked when he got hurt. Like he is non-existent because by the time Fields was in there and playing his own style, he was starting to gel with Mooney, and then Mooney got hurt. So we never got to see full active Fields with Mooney. So it's out of people's minds.
I mean, it might not be where it should be, which means I just
Mooney can come back and be a good wide receiver too for his team, but his value won't.
And volume wise, it's gonna be difficult.
I kind of hope they throw more than like the 15-20 times a game.
I think they will, but if they do, volume wise with DJ Moore there, like it's gonna be tough to carve out a role.
Yeah, I think. A good role. Like he'll be a wide receiver 3 for fantasy probably.
Damian Pierce. Everyone hates him there, right?
Well, they also just brought in
Ronald
Stevenson. Jones.
Is that really who they brought in?
Yeah.
Never mind. He's fine. I thought they brought in someone real.
Damian Pierce is just a good workload opportunity that no one really wants to trade for. His ADP's been low all last season. Stevenson, if the guy's buying into the New England running back idea,
I would absolutely be thrilled to get Ramondre Stevenson for.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting it for that, but
even if I'm not high on Stevenson, that's great.
And I think my answer would be I'd rather add more and go get Swift or someone higher that I like.
I mean,
I think everyone in that value range kind of I want it. Rashad White is actually in the same range as Damian Pierce, just to illustrate it.
That has a little bit more upside than Pierce, so I would prefer that, but that's not something I feel the need to do.
That's kind of what I find.
If I'm the person asking this question because I like looking at my lineup and in March, I don't feel good with Rashad White as my running back too. So I don't think that really works.
Aaron Jones might be a nice compromise.
I would love to get Aaron Jones.
There you go. I think that's possible as well.
And Rodgers probably moving. There's a good chance.
There you go. And can you do a breakdown of Marvin Mims' profile? Again, listen to the Dynasty Hootenanny. You'll get 3 great ones. I haven't made content on him specifically yet, but I'm going to. So I can do a quick one. But Zach is, I think, you're the one who pointed him out to me. So do you want to rehash some of the things you said?
Yeah, I can.
Just make him go listen to the podcast.
You don't have to. You can just say listen to them. I mean, you all 3 broke it down really well.
He's already started, and we're interrupting him.
I think.
No, seriously, Zach, just say what you're going to say.
Mims is fast
and good.
Yeah, no, I think Mims has exceptional speed, like both in route and once he's made the catch. And I said this before the combine, but I thought Mims was going to be what people thought Jalen Hyatt was. And it turned out he ran a really quick 40 faster than Hyatt. He's got the ability to take the top off defenses, is a really good deep ball tracker. I think he's actually really in tune as a blocker, which is weird to say for a smaller guy. He's like 5'11", like 177. But he will mix it up in the run game as well as get downfield to block for other receivers. And I think the best plus for Marvin Mims is that he's really quick in his transition from the catch to a runner, which is nice to have, especially for a player that fast, because he can add yards after catch on like little short throws. I do think he can be bothered by physicality, especially over the middle. And he sometimes rounds routes, which you don't love to see. But again, he can get downfield, get over the top. He can make plays on screens with yards after the catch. So he is not necessarily a profile that I love because those field stretchers are hit or miss. But I think that if you can draft him in the second round of your rookie draft or early third, but it would probably be a second round rookie pick, I think you've got enough upside there where he can potentially grow into that really intriguing flex play who's got week to week big game potential because of his ability to break off chunks and score on long strikes. So
we are being corrected in the chat. Ronald Jones went to Dallas and
Devin Singletary went to Houston. You're right, Devin Singletary. Good.
All right, so that honestly does worry me a little more.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't take much to worry me more than Ronald Jones, but I like Singletary, so like that does actually worry me a little bit more. Though I mean, like White's not going to be a workhorse anyway, so.
We thought he could be when he was drafted, but that way. Then they got
who? Rachaad White? Don't say we. No.
Okay. I wasn't alone though. I'll say that. I didn't think I was out on an island on Rachaad White. Maybe in this chat.
The three of us you are. It's a small island, but it's an island.
Okay, let's fight. Let's go. Come on.
I thought we already were fighting.
I'm just trying to do my Marvin Mims profile, man. Yeah, it's what Zach said. He's a field stretcher. He averages 3 years, and every year he gets an ADOT over 16, which is kind of phenomenal.
Yeah,
if anything, he's a little more entrenched into the field stretcher role than Hyatt, but he's also catching the ball at a slightly above average rate, even though his ADOT didn't move around a lot. He was catching it 15% above the average for players with that kind of ADOT, which is really impressive. Ultimately, it didn't look like he co-opted the volume you need. For just a random example, he averages like a 15% target share, and that's over 3 years of having a field stretcher. But he looks like a better version, if not a similar version to Jalen Hyatt, and if nothing else, he's a little thicker. So if you like BMIs and combine stuff, like Zach said, apparently his 40 time was faster too. I think he's pretty good. He could easily fill a role in the NFL. I don't think he has the ultimate, that kind of thing we're looking for in fantasy, but if it's undervalued, then it's exactly what you're looking for, because the minute he does something, his value is going to change and people are going to get excited. And so I like him. I was actually surprised. He was pointed out to me by Zach, but my model put him in that fine, did good college producer range, digging into him based on where he was playing. He's very good at it. Yeah. So similar, if not exact same. I just transcribe what Zach says, but put it in more nerdy terms. Honestly, that's my process. Just throw in a few numbers. People don't know the difference. Equity loan. Herbert has a great new throw. Happy OC too. I can translate that one.
It's not like they were. Look, Lombardi was throwing guy too. Like that's not. I love Kellen Moore. Don't get me wrong. Like I liked him as an OC. So I'm still happy that they have a good OC that will keep passing the ball, but I don't think that ups anything.
They were 25th or 26th in pass rate over expected.
Yeah, but that's also because they didn't have anyone to throw to. I mean, Eckler was catching 18 passes a game.
No. I mean Kellen Moore with the Cowboys.
Oh, I thought you were saying, yes.
No, like, so I think this idea of
that was the joke that, Kellen Moore got fired for passing too much and they were still at 26th.
Yeah, like I don't think that, like,
when he first took over, they absolutely, at least it felt like, because clearly I did not look at numbers, but it felt like they were passing more.
Yeah, I mean they let Dak throw a bunch, which is nice. Like, and maybe that will be the thing, but I don't think pointing to Kellen Moore as a pass happy offensive. I think Herbert should be throwing as much or more than he has.
Give me Ben Roethlisberger throwing numbers.
Well, but again, like you said, if Keenan Allen is healthy, Mike Williams is healthy,
draft, please draft.
That offense becomes, you have to throw. You should throw.
Josh Palmer ain't nothing. Yeah, I'm just going to default to what I said earlier. We're trying to hope for better off a QB6. Like I was good. I don't need it to be much better. I was pretty happy. I don't know why you're all so crazy.
Yeah.
And want better than great.
Oh, he's fantastic.
So yeah, that's where I start, and I don't feel like justifying how it could maybe. I don't know. Like if it's what he did last year, I think it's pretty good, but it won't be because that was a down year for him, and it's probably going to go up in general. But yeah, again, just if I'm not stealing Zach's content, I'm stealing Russ's. So just reword it, make it sound all nerdy and shit.
Which is funny because I just steal Zach. So
I know it's just like a never-ending cycle. I wonder who Zach's getting it from. Sometimes
I haven't listened to anybody yet, but I'm going to, Peter. I'm going to.
Zach Harris, evening gents, traded Walker and the 208 for Brees.
Love it.
And the 308.
Yes, love it.
Someone should arrest that man. That was awesome. Zach. Good job. The dude abides. Hat tip. Again, stop plagiarizing. Thank you. Josh, he came back.
Tack it.
Facebook. Can we do that? Zach. Okay, fine. I like you, but we'll talk to Zach. Sure. What are your thoughts on Elijah Moore?
We've already done this.
Are you sure that Peter didn't type that? Did you see how they typed Zach's handle?
That is very mean. Thank you. Maybe it's a spam thing. Maybe it's an alt account. I will admit to nothing. Also, I'm getting corrected. The CD Carter account is not a spam account. He's an intern, apparently. I apologize. Mitchell Wood. The Mitchell Wood? Question for Zach. The Dynasty Dummies podcast seems to be unavailable on Spotify. I think it should be on there.
No, we're not on Spotify. No, we're not on Spotify because they flag the opens as stolen material, and I don't want to fight the battle of fair use. So that's why. Because I enjoy doing the opens, I enjoy doing the parody songs, and I don't want to fight Spotify on fair use, even though parodies are fair use.
So what you do is you fight them, and then when you win, you do a parody of "I fought the law and the law won."
Yeah, you can find it on Google Podcast. I think I've listened to it on before.
Yeah, with Google Podcast, Stitcher,
web
Apple.
link.
Yeah.
That's what I do, and it's not on my podcast app. Not that podcast, but others. Yeah. I just open a browser link. But yeah, thanks for the question. I didn't know that myself. Caleb. Hi, guys. I have a league with a wide receiver core of Higgins, Pickens, Elijah Moore, and Rondell Moore. Just all the Moores.
Pickens
some Moores.
I can't stop Pickens. That makes me so happy.
I can't stop. Didn't do well last year because of injuries and bad wide receivers. Have the 105, the 205, etc., and all my 24 picks. Well, you did solid.
Now you got Superflex, did he say? Because then you got JSN to add to Higgins Pickens.
Trade or make picks. It's almost too broad.
It is too broad.
In general, you're just looking to make positive moves, especially like Zach's pointed out, there is strong risk in Elijah Moore. I think Pickens is more of a sell.
Yes.
Pickens.
That's what I was going to say. Yes.
So Pickens added, like a 105, you're fine. You're getting a pretty good player there. But if I could add 205 to Pickens and go up and get one of my top 4 players, I'm all about it. And you could maybe look in that direction. Elijah Moore, I'm holding right now. I just think people are too low on him. But based on what you've told me here, that's my only thought. I would go shopping with Pickens and the 205, see what you can get going based on your league's roster construction and what they're into. And don't sell him for nothing. I'm not saying you need to get out of Pickens, but he's got a really high value right now. They should be excited to trade for him, and if you can find a partner in your league, then you can probably make a team that improves the value and the points of your team, and those are ultimately the two goals. I appreciate the punctuation here as well. Like,
be looking at like the 205 in Pickens for like the 106, or do something like, I would even be looking to move him for something like Jerry Jeudy.
Jeudy be interesting.
Yeah, because I think the luster is still off Jerry Jeudy, even though he had a really good year last year. He's still young enough, and I think
Pickens, all those one-hand catches, you know.
Well, and I just think there's an awful lot of risk in Pickens.
Oh no, I don't even want to assess risk. It's just people are excited, and I think he's good, but I think the excitement can lead to them.
I mean, we're talking the same thing. It's cost benefit. I'm thinking the risk of him not being what people think he is makes his value go down, and you're saying people think he's too high. Same idea.
I was also just trying to add in, like, I mean, if someone's not excited to get something in the trade, it's just generally a bad offer to send. That's what I find I and lots of people miss when they try. But it's balanced. It's good value. But if they don't want it, then they're just, it's hard to get a trade done. But with Pickens, they're like, oh, that's really good soft from the 2022 class. That was a great class. I want some of that. And that can help get trades greased. 12-team Superflex half-point PPR start 10. Bateman and Dalvin, or Algier and Juju and the 204. It's
Algier, Juju, and the 204 for me.
Yeah. You're trying to make me decide between Juju and Bateman. I appreciate the hustle.
I think Juju.
It's King Solomon, Peter Howard trying to split the baby between.
I think
Bateman
I
and
just
Juju.
I've been splitting the Juju baby for too many years. His
been
grandfather's in. I'm
the
keeping
Juju
Juju at
baby.
this point.
That sounds like a
Juju or
jazz
death. I don't care. But good question. Alex, 12-team Superflex start 2 tight ends. Judy or Ridley, and a 24-second, which isn't.
I'm pointing to my jersey.
It's the same position trade, and it kind of sucks because it's kind of even. I kind of.
I should have bought a Judy jersey when his value was low. It's gonna be expensive now.
Man, that is really close.
Yeah, it's like one side has years. I have more expectation. I mean,
I'd rather have Judy, I think, but it's not by much.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't. This is just a trade. I don't think I do it because I don't know.
I do it.
Judy probably because you're rolling all that value up into one thing. I guess that's the only way I could justify it. Yeah, it's Judy, but
well, and he's 24.
Yeah, so you're rolling.
I mean, like that's what rolls it for me, I think. And then again,
it is a 4 or 5 year age difference. It's very big.
And a 24-second does not like. I'm not even thinking about that at this point. I know you do, but that's how like you and I value picks a lot differently because outside of first round picks, I don't value them until I'm on the clock.
Well, but the thing is, that other people do.
Yeah, but I'm not actively trading for them because I'd rather have the thing that I want than have to go trade for the thing that I want with something that I don't want. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, well, yes. In that specific example, I understand what you're saying, but like in a normal trade where that 24-second does just fill the value gap and gets you.
Maybe I'd rather have something that I'd rather have like that. That's just usually how I play it.
I completely get it, but yes, we
disagree.
I don't value something a certain way. If I know I can get the value that other people do place on it, I'll do that move, especially if it's a pick. Like if it's a player, that's risky because I don't want to be stuck with players I don't want. But yeah, like seconds. I would absolutely take them on, even if I don't plan on using them, because I usually don't.
Yeah.
Alex, I'd just like to thank you. I love it when mom and dad fight like this, and I'd like to thank you for that brief experience. So, I think about it this way. You're taking that second-round pick and mushing it into Calvin Ridley and making him younger. And that's not a thing you can actually do with Calvin Ridley.
Bottle that shit up and
probably
sell it.
Like, there's no way you can de-age Calvin Ridley and make other people value him. And so, yeah, it's the Judy side, but yeah, solid. solidly, perfectly even for me. Sean, how do you guys feel about Justin Fields?
I like him.
I like him. I think he has the potential. I'm just going to play the market. I don't have a strong feeling on whether it's gonna or not gonna happen at this point. Russ does, so.
I mean, I was always pretty high on him. I liked him coming in. I liked him. I had faith in him when the Bears were being dumb, and seeing how well he did running was great. But I also believe he is a good passer. So
yeah.
I think it's a place to build off of. And he was already priced like we knew Chicago was going to bring someone in. So I don't think DJ Moore should raise his price. He was quarterback 8. You don't put someone at quarterback 8 if you don't think they're going to be good or, do something better than bringing in Chase Claypool for the 32nd overall pick. So, I really like Justin Fields. I think he belongs at QB8. I think he belongs in that second or third tier, depending on how you have those tiers broken down. But I don't think we raise his value because of the trade.
The cool thing, Sean, though, is the QB8 valuation is pricing in a lot of that risk.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the guys, okay, so
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's like obviously Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts have the potential to be the QB1 overall. The other players, Burrow, Herbert, I guess Lamar Jackson does, but Burrow, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence,
touchdown throwers,
don't really have the potential to be the overall QB1. They're close. They're in that conversation, but they're not like they're not going to break rushers. Football like somebody like Allen or Hurts or Lamar Jackson did, and Fields could.
Yes, if and I hate to say it because I love like Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. If they're QB1, it's probably because other guys got hurt.
Yeah, and it's nothing like
and it's
they're
no
good quarterbacks.
And it's really funny because a lot of people have been down on Joe Burrow since his beginning because his touchdown rate isn't realistic, but it's staying there.
It's the Tyreek Hill. There's no way Tyreek Hill can be this efficient from 40 yards out, and then he just does. But then you just can.
Look who he's throwing the ball to. Look who's running the ball behind him. They don't have a chance. And their defense was so bad they didn't have a choice but to keep throwing it. And Joe Burrow is that good. So I'm not scared of his touchdown rate. And
I will say I think the risk is more about you have to rely on a team did they figure it out and start doing the right thing because they started doing the right thing or were they forced in? I don't like putting it in the hands of, will GMs give this player a chance to be good?
Well, they literally
came out. They seem to be, very often they're like, oh no.
It's not often a team will come out and say, we've been doing it wrong. And they did.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's real. Even if it was the president of the team that walked downstairs, or let's face it, took the elevator downstairs and started screaming at people that this is what they have to do and they don't have a choice. They still don't use the phrase, we've been doing it wrong. Of course, they didn't use those words, but along the lines of, we've been doing it wrong. We're going to do it the right way. And we're going to follow the way this team did it with their guy. Teams don't say that for no reason.
And even
teams do lie, but I get what you mean. It's just not. It's definitely priced in. That's why I was on the fence. Like I said, the risk is more than
his value can go up.
There's no question on the player's ability to do it, and that
as poorly as he threw the ball last year, he was still quarterback 5 in points per game.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
So there you go, Sean. What time are we at? 9:50. Gotta get moving here. Bon. Hey guys, we'll compete only in 24. Don't say that, but I appreciate the context. Have these wide receivers: Chase, Judy, Dotson, not bad. Deontay, cool. Burks, good. Mostert and the running backs are Mostert, Gibson, Chuba, Haskins. That's your problem. Have the 103. Should I take JSN, Gibbs, or trade back? I should have started with the question. Take the best player. It's that simple. JSN, then Gibbs.
But
and
if
you
it's
can't get one of the top 4, I would trade back.
But if it's a super flex, it's a quarterback, so you might as well trade back and
Did you
still
say
get
super
one of
flex? I'm
those.
trying to scan and I don't see it. Because
you shouldn't take JSN just because we like him so much. In a super flex, you should take the best player for that.
I feel like you list those 2 players at the 103 because Bijan's going 1 and JSN and Gibbs would be 2 and 3. So
and that's fine if it's a.
Like they don't say.
One...
Am I missing? Like they don't say super flex in here, right?
They don't.
Right. Yeah. No, you always just take the best. Regardless, draft for value, trade for need.
And honestly, if it goes Bijan Robinson and JSN, and you get Gibbs at 3,
with that you might be competing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because the running back is the problem. Your wide receiver core is real solid with Chase at the top.
I just drafted Antonio Gibson. He's great.
So if you were to get Gibbs at the 103, assuming non-super flex, this team's competitive already. You got to running back 1, I think. So that's where my eyes would be set. But don't set your draft order right now. You're allowed to wait to have an idea, wait for the draft, see what happens, see where your league's at. But that would be my rough sketch of what I think I'm going to try and do.
Take offers on the clock because that's when your pick is the most valuable. And if you get something you like, then awesome.
Yeah. I suck at fantasy football. You made me say it. Oh no. It's true though. 12 teams, start 9, 1 QB PPR, 0.5 tight end premium. Have the 102 and the 104 rookie picks. Should I try and trade them for the 101? Yes. Yep. Frank N. I mean, there's nothing. Yes.
No, especially in a 1 quarterback. Yeah.
Frank N. Evening, guys. In my best league, I have JJ, Chase, Lamb.
Yes, that is your best league.
That may be the best
my
league.
Teams. But as of now, it's 5 wide receivers for 4 spots. That's not a problem, but okay.
Yes, it is. I would cry having to bench one of those.
Would you be looking to target anything? And the answer is yes. I'd be looking to target the 101. Yeah. And honestly, at value, you can trade anyone. Preferably, I guess. No, there's no. I guess Lamb.
Wilson plus to go get AJ Brown. Just clear up that top 4.
Yeah.
I mean, why not go get a? Yeah, why not go
That's
get?
That's absolutely a joke, by the way. No, going to get Travis Kelce plus or going to get.
It's the running back. It's Bijan. It's trade Bijan one of those guys.
Quarterback is. Yep. Go get the number 1 at a different position. Is yes. Yep.
And I'd probably prefer to keep JJ and Chase.
Get rid of Wilson.
Outside of that, get good value and get the 101 and beat their ass. That's where I would try and lead.
If you can't get Bijan, you can get Christian McCaffrey for plus any of those bottom 3, right? Lamb, Higgins, or Wilson.
Yes, should he probably get a plus?
Absolutely. So you could probably get plus for Lamb and Wilson. You'll get people that'll want to do Higgins straight up, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
All right. We're nearly at 10 o'clock in the comments. So, Gary, are you guys worried about JSN plus a 1.85 10-yard? No, I'm not worried. No,
okay, Gary, go look up his 3-cone and short shuttle at the combine. They're like the top 3 in the last 15 years. His short area quickness is fine. That's how he gets open. Do not overthink this. JSN is an absolute stud.
Don't need to find something to worry about.
You're good.
I appreciate I appreciate the process. You like to look at this stuff, and hell, our Squares and Math Bomb, they do solid work. It's interesting stuff and has value. But my default answer is, however he performs, he used that to be phenomenal. So his physicals enable whatever physicals he have enable him to be one of the best wide receiver prospects I've seen. So he's built like that, Yeah, but again, fair to ask.
The get off from the line of scrimmage is not where he wins either. It's the short area quickness. It's coming out. It's setting up a defender. It's planting, getting a defender going one direction, and then it's attacking in multiple directions. So he's attacking once he sets up a defender. He's attacking both laterally and vertically. So a defender has to make up two different directions. Like that's where he gets open. So it's not it's not off the line of scrimmage.
Something that reoccurred to me while you were just talking. I just made a draft hit video, and one of the things that I noted is like wide receivers are drafted at a phenomenally high rate relative to other positions in every round. And what occurred to me is how diverse the wide receiver position is.
Yeah.
Now, I've always explained why the combine doesn't work is because they're not testing the right things, in that you don't perform, you don't wear your shorts and a t-shirt. And also it's just a different situation and you can train specifically for it. Or people can be sick. That happened to a few running backs or have an injury recently. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But the other thing is JSN plays in a similar role and might play it entirely. Like Zach was just explaining how he wins in that role, which might be entirely different to Cup and Jefferson. But whatever his physicals are, that he enables him to play in that way. And wide receiver is diverse. I think is also why those numbers struggle to help me or find correlations. You know what I mean? It just occurred to me when you were talking about how he's using. It's like, yeah, it's so diverse, even in the same role.
At one point, I did a show about this because we talk about wide receiver like it's one position, and it's really not. Yeah. Like there are X wide receivers, there are possession wide receivers, there are slot wide receivers. So there are multiple ways to win. There are field stretchers, so like you can win in multiple ways and be just as valuable for like. Jamar Chase doesn't win the same way Cooper Kupp wins, doesn't win the same way, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad player because you have different traits. You just have to, like, whatever you have for traits have to be how you get open, like what you utilize. So
interesting stuff, though. Thanks, Gary. Dustin, 10 teams who flex PPR start 10. Mahomes is available. Awesome. My current QBs are Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. The asking price is the 102, the 103, the 106, and the 204. For Mahomes,
but if you have Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, why would you spend not a quarterback upgrading to go get Mahomes?
Yeah. I'd rather put like Lawrence in that deal and remove some of those picks.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
If you're unhappy with Herbert and Trevor Lawrence and you want to actually pay up to go get Mahomes, I wouldn't do it. Lawrence is not part of the deal.
Lawrence, the 106 and the 204.
Or
I mean, not to steal.
Lawrence, like,
that's what I was going to say. Steal a move from your playbook.
Move Lawrence.
Make the trade and then trade Lawrence. Trade.
But I would honestly, I would start shopping Lawrence now purely through messaging, not through the site, like, because you don't want them to accept and then you not get the Mahomes deal done,
right?
But like, line up that deal first, and because then you'll get a real idea of what you're paying for Herbert. Mahomes. So that's the only way I do it without actually moving Lawrence for that, because yes, in all accounts, you should be able to move Lawrence very easily. But it might be a weird time in your league where people just don't want to pay right now. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's a good team.
I think that's a solid plan. It's a really good team. Or giving up all that capital to compromise the roster construction. I don't think the value is wrong necessarily, as it might not be the best move for your team. Like Outhouse was saying, with Lawrence, you got better moves you could do to improve your team overall, even though Mahomes is such a piece,
I love our watchers' wide receiver cores every show.
Seriously. They're doing something, right?
Wait. So if they make this trade, they will have Mahomes, Herbert, Bijan, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Chris Olave, Pittman. And if they find a different way to go about it, they could still have the 102, 103, 105, 106.
Yeah.
In a 10-team
draft Gibbs. Just want to take a minute.
They're going to want to cancel the league.
You go Pickens, Lawrence, and like your 24 first.
If you can find a different way, there has to be players on your team they want that aren't pure picks, even if they're rebuilding, because you got a lot of youth.
Zach Harris, I have a win now team with the 109, the 110, the 112. League mate is offering Tyreek for the 109 and the 110. Do it. Isaiah Spiller, sure. How do you feel about that?
Whatsoever.
solid, especially on a team that's
elite players play
These are
for an
late
elite amount of
picks.
time at elite level.
See if he,
Easy trade.
see if he could. We'll take 2 of Isaiah Spiller in that deal and just get you an extra roster spot.
Could you just take an extra one?
Create 2 copies just for that, and then just drop the other one.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is overpaying. I think Tyreek
No, I think that's a
Hill
very-
could be in this
I
range
think
right
it's a
now
good
because of those
price
age
for Tyreek.
concerns.
Because it's
If you
2
get
dark
that point,
throws at
he-
that
That's
point.
what you care about.
So he's got Bijan and Brian Robinson. Sorry, Dustin does for the next one.
B-Rob and B-Rob?
Yeah, Rob Dignagian.
2 that, yes. 2 B-Robs make a Rob Dinagian. Yes, it does.
Okay, so you actually okay.
2 Brobs.
Devin, what price are you willing to pay for DeAndre Hopkins on a contender?
Second.
Trying to get him for a second, mid-second.
I would
get
not
that.
pay it first, especially without knowing what team he's going to be on this season. Because
It's a good pivot point. Like, if you're a more competitive team, it's better to trade for Hopkins or Michael Thomas and try and take the upside that I think Elijah Moore might have. And like I said, it should be even lower, which is fair as well, depending where your risk tolerance is for that. Or Bateman, even, or Juju. Like, you go get one of the older guys and you get in the points. So, yeah, it's fair. It's how your team situation can change things.
Well, I don't think you trade for Elijah Moore to make a difference on your team. I think you trade for Elijah Moore to get a value upswing or to be who you hope will be a solid wide receiver.
The only way you get a value upswing with Elijah Moore is if he makes a difference on your team, though.
Well, if he does well enough that, like, again, like, he needs to be your wide receiver 5 or 6 right now. So if he's your wide receiver 4, he still could be other people's wide receiver 3. Like, the value on your team isn't the same as his value on other teams. I'm not saying it's going to be big.
I think, and I think me and Zach are on the same page.
Jump for the 202 later.
The further
I think he does have to score points to make those value changes. So
the
he has
further
to score.
out, from being a rookie, the less leeway you have. And if you've seen 2 years where he hasn't been what you hoped, he better be in that 3rd year, or else he goes the way of all the players we hoped would be something.
No, we have to give them 6 years. Corey Davis and Devontae Parker has told us we have to give players 6 years. Just accept it, Peter.
9:55. This comment was posted at 9:55. Russ, work with
faster.
JB 12-team Superflex PPR 2 PPR 2.5 PPR premium for tight ends. Start 10 Pollard and the 103, or Miles Sanders and the 209.
How did you get 103?
312, because I reversed it. I do that with numbers sometimes. It's how I'm so wrong on players sometimes. Obviously, prefer Pollard and Sanders right now.
Mixing
Not
up
the
numbers.
math
Cool.
guy.
Yeah, I think it's Pollard in the 302.
Yeah, because the picks don't matter really, and Pollard has much more upside than Sanders does.
Yeah, you just go for the.
I think this next question ties right into it. Pollard is RB10 on keep, trade, cut. How do we capitalize on this? You trade him.
Trade him away.
Yeah, I don't think the market is that high, but what would you be happy selling for? So I think Pollard is one of those where you kind of miss the hype on it. So you have to wait for the re-hype.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think Zeke actually getting cut may have given you an extra little window. But
it's
yeah,
one of those where you got to read your league.
We're past the point of people being excited for it.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah. once they see him be the guy again at the beginning of this year,
regardless of what his real upside is, if I get anything with a 1 in front of it, I take it. And I'm not even talking just 23. I will take a 24 first. 25, that's too far out. But I would
running
take a
back value is kind of in the tank right now, so you're looking for running backs that have low value. You don't buy the few that have increased value because of what the season brings. Oh, you're waiting for the season to bring back those points, and then there's potential windows again. I think that's where Zach's going. Like, when he's scoring points, he'll be worth something more than he is right now again.
I mean, that's running backs, yeah.
But I think you're right. I think the RB10 on keep, trade, cut is not necessarily indicative of what his actual trade value. Keep, trade, cut is wild.
I don't like keep, trade, cut.
And to be fair, not even ADP. There's nothing that's good. You just kind of have to read the room.
It is not made for trade value.
Yeah. Romulo, which is a very cool name.
It's made for me just going and clicking Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore.
You know what I just got in my head? Like, I know you're not a TikTok person, but like on TikTok, they have this thing where, you know, it's like 2 movie posters and you lean your head into a direction to pick which movie you like more. And then I picture like Zach doing this, but only picking Rondell Moore, and then it just looks like Night at the Roxbury.
Don't hurt me.
They reply, "Baby, don't hurt me." That is love, actually.
10-team league, 1 QB. I have Justin Fields, Tua. My running backs are CMC Saquon, and Tyler Algier. Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill. Get lost. Just
seriously.
And he also has a 102. Why not? Why not the 102 and the 103?
110.
Why not?
Gibbs? No, draft Jackson Smith-Njigba, then Gibbs, just to mess with ADP. And then 109, 110, best player available. You could mess around.
You do it to 109, 110. You just say screw it all, and you take Stroud, Younger, Richardson.
Yeah, and seriously,
no, take Richardson. It's a 1 QB.
Guys,
1 QB, right?
But I don't know that I'd take him there. If I had a 2nd round pick, I'd take him.
Oh yeah, no, like that's why I said screw it all and just do it. Yeah, because it's not the smart move, but like
Romulo, it's like you have a good team. Take the best players available, which are going to be Gibbs and
but that's
JSN.
Also the answer, regardless of what your team is. But like, dude, like, way to just not even humble brag. That's just straight up. Oh look, I accidentally dropped my amazing roster for everyone to see it.
I accidentally made you feel bad about yourself. That's cool. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, Corey.
That was an easy one. I appreciate that. Kevin, don't know why I did that, but it was fun. JMO, a goodbye low. Depending on what low means, I actually think people are like. I haven't heard a lot about him. And
a certain Mr. Zacharyson was not very excited about JMO's potential.
He said to me personally on my podcast when I talked to him, treat it like you can treat it like a rookie year, and I think that's a good way of going about it. And he'd be in the conversation for the top 5, 6 wide receivers this year. Treat it like that, I think.
Yeah, he'd be in the conversation for like the top 4, 3.
I was actually going to say, if anything, he'd probably go higher.
I think he probably would be 3. I think he'd be
wouldn't
above.
be JSN, wouldn't be Addison, but then I'd start looking at him.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you can get him lower than that, I think Sean, 1 QB league, need a running back and have 24 first to give, but 0 S. Which running back would be worth contending team at that price? Again, go for the ones that are falling in value, because right now running back value seems to be a little lower. If you're going to go for a running back, I think Dameon Pierce is one of the ones I mentioned earlier. He's like, no one wants Dameon Pierce, but we know his workload, blah, 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 blah. I think Swift is probably my favorite target if you really want to go high value.
I would rather have Pacheco. I'd rather have Pacheco than Pierce.
Otherwise, you go down. Yeah.
And if we're not going down, I want guys who are going to score. So you're talking like Aaron Jones.
Yeah, but also with those guys waiting right until the season starts to pick the right guy.
Yep.
I pulled up the DLF trade finder, and Jameson seems to be worth a late first, like 10.
Yeah, and I do that. I do anything after like the 108, 109. I do that. Why not?
Just if we've seen any trades, so I figured that made sense just to pull it up.
But obviously, the further down you can go, the happier you are.
There you go. I'm actually writing up running back values, ADP versus ranks this week. I'm meant to finish it tonight. The top Superflex rankers on DLF currently suggest the best targets at running back are Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones. I disagree with this, but the rankers as a group like Ken Walker, they have him 3 spots higher than ADP. Disagree with that one, but Jonathan Taylor's interesting. He's the next guy. Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, Pierce, and that's about where the large discrepancies end. So if you're going to go up, those are the guys who are going to score points that currently rank as like more than ADP. It's a pretty good list, actually, apart from that Walker one. Yeffy Gaming, 12-team PPR, Superflex, 6-point passing touchdown. Ooh, sick. Which side do you prefer, Mahomes or Lamar Jackson and Jalen Waddle? Ooh. I think it's Mahomes, but that's tough.
I think it's
I think it's Jackson and Waddle, but it's again. You said it's real close.
Like
I
honestly,
almost wish
like,
I had the courage to say that. I'll be honest with you.
I don't think in most cases I would see this happening in a real league. Like I feel like people would say Mahomes, and I'm like scared right now of what Lamar Jackson has going on. But
it all sort itself.
Lamar Jackson, yeah, I think I take the Jackson Waddle side. But the value,
I can't back up now. Thanks for abandoning me. No, I think
we were never willing to abandon you. You walked off on your own.
No, I like that.
Muted again.
No, I like that energy, man. I default to the elite asset, but all three of these are elite assets.
Yeah, they're all.
But yeah, man, 2 versus 1, I lose. There you go. Corey, someone in my league has been trying to get Andrews. No, nah, let him keep getting. But is willing to give it Christian Watson and Fairmouth.
No, that's still Andrews.
No,
and I don't even like Andrews,
but. And the 212 in return. I'm torn because Andrews is such a positional advantage. Is he though without Lamar Jackson? No, he is. Yeah, it's Andrews. You go for the elite guy, and I love Fairmouth, but the chances that he becomes like the Kelsey Andrews type producer. I mean, so few.
If you were getting something better than Watson in the 212 with that, then you're having a conversation, because if you can take a step down, I think Freiermuth is in that like.
Oh, he's not in the committee. He's in that middle class. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not in the second tier, but he's in like the third tier, wanting to be the second tier.
He's in the tier of you feel good. You feel good starting them, but they're not.
He's in there with. You think he's in there with Goddard and
no. You are happy starting Goddard. You feel good starting Freiermuth. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I'm in the same place with him, but that's fair. But he's not the Andrews tier, is the point. Yeah. So Christian Watson, I think his value's I think the 22 class in general. But no, for me, I think there's more downside on the other side, and there's no elite upside. So
Christian Watson, who did what he did in 2022 through efficiency, is losing one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. And they're going to put him with Jordan Love, who was my QB5 in his class. Yeah.
No, just drop the mic. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, here, let me throw it.
Are we selling Pacheco? No, his value didn't rise. Do you get that? Like, he did what he did towards the end of the season, and everyone was like, it's fine. I just leave him here. And so, like, it's already still priced in.
His value went down, and I don't get it. He looked really good. I get that so did McKinnon, but McKinnon's amazing.
See, the logic is draft happens, there's more risk. He's a running back in the offseason. But if his value doesn't... But that's based on the idea that a running back who does well's value goes up, and it didn't. So, like, it doesn't work, if you know what I mean.
Well, and it did. It did during the season a couple times, but it hasn't since the season ended.
Yeah,
and so like that to me, like I had this tweet where like somebody was, owners of Pacheco, Pierce, and Algier sitting there like being sad during free agency or waiting for the draft, and I was like, well, that's because you should have traded them in season when their value went up, because that's what you do with second or third round rookie picks who hit if you're not competitive. If you're competitive, yeah, keep them. But like
this is one of the things I'm trying to look into. Like Pacheco turned up as one of the ones that rank as like less than ADP. And I was trying to figure out, and I haven't got to the end of it, but it looks like it's just one ranker having like an insanely different value that's tanking him overall. And I think that's what happens with Pacheco. It's just a couple people out of 10 are like, nah, the draft will tank him, and that's pulling everything down. It's like, yeah, that's now priced in, isn't it? But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to. It's kind of crazy. JSN Olave.
Again, it's still Olave because of what he did last year, but I think I have JSN ranked higher as a player coming into the draft. Like right now, you have more to go on with Olave.
Yeah, the answer to this is like in your league, you can say that's not. You're offering me a second for a first right now. I mean, I might think that about JSN, but you're offering me bad value. But since this is a live stream and I like to stand on hills and say, see, I knew and no one else did, even though everyone else knows, I'm going to say JSN just for the fun. But like, that's a terrible value. Like they're trying to get something for less.
Right. And trading one for one is, I mean, that's a bad bet.
Well, you give me this top 12 wide receiver for a rookie pick. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Yep. But JSN, sure, why not? Dylan Price. No, just Dylan. Okay, I need help, guys. Would you trade away Deshaun Watson for the 102 in Superflex? Sure. Yeah.
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 I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I'd re-roll those years.
Re-rolls, yeah.
And I don't think there's a non-zero risk with Watson being what he used to be. You know what I mean? Like everyone just assumes Deshaun Watson is going to come back and be.
Oh no, there's absolutely a chance that he might not.
Yeah, I think he's more. Yeah, it's fair to think of him as top 12, not top 5, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that means it's a little easier to do when you get extra years. Bajon, 3 quarterbacks in order. They're drafted. QJ, JSN, Addison, Gibbs, Levy, first 9 picks. I don't.
I think he's there. They're asking if those are the first 9 picks.
Oh, there will be first 9 probably.
I don't think it'll be the order they're drafted, but
not the order, no.
Unless you're saying it's the order they're drafted in your draft, and then absolutely, they're definitely going to be that order.
Zachary.
Yes. We're actually now up to the point I can read that question that came in on Twitter. CD Carter 42096, 10-team 1QB PPR, start 10. Have the 104, the 106.
2069.
Yes, because I didn't know that. But thanks for interrupting. 10-team 1QB PPR, start 10. I have the 104, the 106, the 107. Got offered the 104 and the 110 and a 24 first for the 101. And it got rejected. Can I really offer more, or do I have to accept that I'm not going to get Bijan Robinson? 104, 110, and a 24 first. Can you go up from there? I mean, you can find something else I'm more excited about, because apparently it's not just a rookie pick. So do you have anyone on your roster that might excite them? Like, I'm getting Christian Watson. Think of the upside of those touchdowns. Do they like that? And then you can put him in there instead of like the 110, and they might like that a lot better, even though I think you're giving up about the same thing. That's the kind of way I try and approach it. 3 firsts, including one in the top 5, isn't exactly max, but I'm assuming you don't have all the rookie picks to choose from. So this is probably as much draft capital as you've got.
If you have, I would give up the 4 and the 6, and I would give it the 4, 6, and 10, and hold the 24 first. For like the 4, 6, and the 10 to see if that gets me Bijan. I would do that.
I don't think that's more tempting than a 4, 10, and maybe.
I
will play around any 3 of those picks, basically. Like, would you give up the 4, the 6, and the 7? I think that's decent. That's as much as he can offer, right?
Assuming it's just picks, and also I would still do that.
That's what I mean. Like, you can do any combination here. If you're offering 3 of them, it's pretty solid. You're trying to get it out for less as possible, but even if you had to go to the 4, 6, and the 7, I
would probably still do that. Yeah.
But the answer is yes. There's still offers to be made here. You can definitely try, but they can ultimately just say no. That's one of the frustrating things about playing with people. They can just go, "No, I want Bijan
do it." That's the worst.
Yeah, it is fair. All right. Thank you, CD Carter 42069. Equity alone, I'm surprised with the year Daniel Jones had. Me too, man. Complete surprise to me. Arms and legs. Second year with the ball and way more weapons this year, assuming they draft a wide receiver or trade for Judy. What are your thoughts?
He's a value.
Do you think there's more upside? Yeah. I think he's definitely a value right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's the value quarterback right now. Like, he and Cousins are kind of like the guys that everyone goes, I don't really want him. But then when you play him in a super flex spot, you're like, I'm glad I have him.
Yeah, I think that's so. Jeannie, would you accept the 112 for Rashad White? Little
212.
212, sorry. 212 is a little low. 112 would be good. What's the lowest pick you'd accept? Would you trade Rashad White away for, or the opposite?
I would hold White over the 212 at this point.
Yeah. Where does that line flip?
Superflex is probably like the 204.
Yeah, like yeah.
204s, this seems
Like,
solid to me.
I would probably re-roll into Charbonnet, A-Chain. You just got me way too big into Roshan.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I was listening to that episode recently. I was like, man, I want to move him up.
Yeah, I mean it's draft capital, but yeah, it's Charbonnet, Roshan Johnson, A-Chain, Miller, Bigsby. I mean, like
his name's Tank. Yeah, I'll take Tank over Rashad White.
Abanikanda.
I definitely take Tank.
Some of those plays. Sean Tucker even is going to be potentially really like.
The reason I don't like Sean Tucker is because I will never say his name right because I will always think to say Sean Taylor first.
Awesome. I want out of that running back range is the thing. Like, I probably prefer the rookie over Rashad White because what else do we have to choose between? So I'm trying to get out of there. So around the 204, 205, where Zach said, I think that's where you're at the end, probably expecting draft capital of that tier. So it's around there. Yeah. For Ridley, I'd want to sell mid-season when he's scoring points. Fair. Or when he starts popping off. I think that'd be a fine move too. Yeah. No problem, Steve Carter. I'm not trying to buy Elijah Moore. He stinks. That's hurtful. You know, people have feelings. I think he's pretty good. I want to, for a low second, I think that's probably a good range. Yeah. Hey, worth a shot. Oh, I think I'm just in the middle of their conversation at this point. Yeah. What is Darren Walls' value in 1.0 tight end premium? This is a Russ question.
I talked about Darren Waller today on the trade show.
A group meeting or
about him on Trade Addicts on Tuesday, and I still seem to be higher on him than a lot of people. Like Daniel Jones made Danny Belly look really good, and no disrespect to Daniel Bellinger. Who the hell is Daniel Bellinger? And
a lot of respect there, but okay.
He's Danny Belly. There's no disrespect. I love that man. He broke his face and missed 2 weeks of football. And no one is Anquan Bolden. He came back like the next freaking week.
Human being is Anquan Bolden, by the way. Fairly insane.
So Darren Waller's in a one extra in a 2-point PPR for tight ends. Like, I probably place him in that tier right after the top players we always talk about.
Yeah, he's outside of the Fairmouth, but then he's in the solid. He's been there before.
He's in that Goddard Hawkinson tier, and he's probably a little.
No, if Fairmouth isn't in the Goddard Hawkinson tier for Zach, and there's no way I'm accepting Waller as in that tier. No,
Waller has scored that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fairmouth has been a top 12 tight end every year of his career, and you're like, oh,
top 12 is different than top 3. Top 12 tight end means absolutely nothing. Call me when it's top 5.
What does he need to do? Oh, it's touchdowns, and then he gets
more
targets. Like, oh, it's just top 12.
I literally said what he needs to do, Peter.
He's younger and better.
And better looking, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know what either of them look like. It was just
Waller's a very handsome individual. He just got married. He married Kelsey Plum.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who these people are. I'm talking about fantasy stats, not people.
Yo, Darren Waller's a good-looking dude.
That's what I'm saying.
The first picture of him, it's in a Raiders jersey, and like he just has a little smirk going on. I'm like, oh shit, all right, nope, yeah.
I got everything. That's money.
Like here comes
I'm good at football. Tight end get 2 points per reception. Yeah. Plus pass kick, 12-team superflex, Trevor Lawrence, Deontay Johnson, or Daniel Jones, Dimebag Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, who? And the 105 and the 205. Darius Slayton doesn't matter here. That's why I said who.
So Daniel Jones at the 105 or T-Law and Deontay Johnson. I will take.
I want Trevor Lawrence and Deontay Johnson. I don't want to overthink it too much here. The 105 is nice, but I think I just want T-Law and Johnson.
I want JSN and the other quarterback who's going to score what Trevor Lawrence is, even though he doesn't have the value.
We can get JSN at 105. Come on.
You don't think you can get JSN at 105 in a
I think you
super
could.
flex
I don't
league?
think you can lock it in. Like you're not definitely getting JSN if you make this
Yeah,
draft.
but if
Okay,
not,
well
you're
then I get
getting
a top 3
quarterback.
quarterback, and then it's even
Okay,
better
yeah.
than JSN in a super flex league. And
Disagree. That's fair. Probably. Okay.
Yeah, they had almost identical points per game last year.
Daniel Jones is the player that nobody wants until
Yeah,
you're scoring
I want
points,
him.
and then everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, I want this." Because people keep asking questions about Elijah
Well,
Moore.
here's the thing.
And Peter loves him.
Here's why I feel a little different about it. The last week 17, Trevor Lawrence scored 7 points. So I don't know if he was pulled, but he has a much higher. Oh man, Daniel Jones. I'm not going to talk because the more I look at it, the more they both have a lot of ups and downs. And yeah, assuming things go the way they should, and they bring in at least one more pass catcher.
I mean, they already brought in Waller.
Yeah, but I want a guy who doesn't usually make it through the season. You know, give me someone so they can at least alternate, hopefully, and have one pass catcher at least per time. You know, and let Wandale come back. Like, yeah, there's a very good chance that they stay on this trajectory, and Daniel Jones is the next Kirk Cousins-esque quarterback, value-wise, not play-wise.
I just default to value in more situations than I don't. And Daniel Jones might score the same points exactly again. Doesn't matter. Trevor Lawrence is always going to be more valued. And that's why. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's why I play it that way. That's right for me, I guess. I feel like he offended you personally at this point, Genji.
You have 4 different really bad quarterbacks.
One QB. Can I get
Joe
Judy?
Flacco?
For my 106, or do I have to move up for JSN? Can I get Judy for the 106? I mean, you can do anything you like.
No, he says I can get Judy for the 106.
Oh,
Or
okay. Sorry.
should I try to move up for JSN? If you're moving up for JSN, you got to get up to 102.
Yes,
in a
it
one
depends what it
quarterback.
takes to move up to the 102.
Yeah.
Let's suplex.
106 for Judy is nice, but if you have to add a ton to get up to the 106, to get up to the 102, you might as well just not.
I mean,
do
you can
that.
find out, right? You can go find out if you can get to JSN. And if you can, I'd rather do that. But the 106 for Judy is solid. So, like, that's a really good if I can't move. Chigabai. Yeah, Chigabai. I can't say that nearly as cool as it was written. But Chiggy, I honestly don't have too strong of opinion.
I don't
Okay,
remember.
I try
his
not to
full first
overthink
name
kind of-
anymore, but
me
it's
neither.
much longer than Chig.
Andrew Colson, 12-team 1 QB start 8 PPR. The 104 and the 24 first, or Jameson Williams. 104 is high, and the 210. I think it's still the 104 and 1 QB.
Well, we were just talking
That's-
about this. Is it like Quentin
Gibbs or
Johnson,
Addison,
or is
right?
it?
if
well,
it's
it's
Quentin
James Williams.
Johnson,
It's got to be either it's Addison for me.
In a
If
one
it's-
quarterback, it's 4. Never mind. Yeah, I'll take the 4. If it's one further, if it was the 105, it would be the discussion we were talking.
Addison over Williams, but you're right on that
wrong.
line. The fourth
I
to the
would take
second
Addison
doesn't do
over.
enough for me to move from Addison to Williams.
And I don't care. About
So
the
I guess that
210
answers it.
to make that. Part
But
of
it's
the decision.
close. I don't hate the
Can I quote you on that? You don't care about the second round pick?
The 210. You're not saying I don't care about the 210.
I was going to say, I didn't say that, did I? Reed, 12-team Superflex Cup, Higgins, the 102, or Josh Allen on the 207.
I feel like that's actually not a bad price for Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'd rather have Allen, but that's not that's a good deal.
Like that is.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to get Allen for a good price, and I think that's Allen for a good price.
Yeah.
Because Cup doesn't hold value regardless of what he will score. Higgins, I love, but let's face it, he's what, 102, 103? So you're getting Josh Allen for 2 102s? Like, that shouldn't happen.
The only reason I can think to trade Josh Allen like this is essentially building, in which case Cup isn't your target. Because I was going to say keep Josh Allen and send something for Cup. Like, that's where my mind goes with this trade.
Yep.
But, I mean, I assume you're just trying to get the most you can for Josh Allen, in which case get Cup out of there because he's points and try for something else. Like, the trade's a little... I'm having a hard time picking my side here, but so I think I just default to Josh Allen. Like, I keep the premium thing. It's not enough for me to just do it.
Yeah.
To do it.
This is pretty easily Allen. Yeah. Oh, J Mike.
Hey, J Mike. Nice to see you. What can I buy Bateman for? I don't know. It's your league. I think he goes for a mid-second in most leagues, and that's where I'd be excited to try it.
He's not a first anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, in your league, the guy probably should know because trade values are.
If they still have Bateman,
they tend to be binary, yes or no.
In him.
Most people are probably going to say no to that, but that's where the offer kind of exists. Andrew Carlson, 16 team Superflex Star 11, PPR, 5-point passing touchdowns. Mac Jones on a 24 second, 24 third, or Trey Lance.
Jones.
Ooh, I like Mac Jones, but isn't
I don't want the risk.
upside?
I'll take Mac Jones because I don't want the risk, and
I think he might send the Lance. Yeah.
I think I want Lance on this one.
Regardless of what Zach says, you could do something with that 24 second.
I've been ending up on the Mac Jones side of a lot of different trades.
Value wise and upside wise, it is absolutely Trey Lance. I don't like risk, so I take Mac Jones.
Unless it's for T. Higgins.
There's no risk in T. Higgins.
Risk. I knew we were going to get there first. What do you guys think of the Harris and Cook backfield? Damian Harris and James Cook, right? Yeah. I try not to think much about them. I mean, Damian Harris, to be fair, straight career of people just undervaluing that he's gonna have a lot of utility to NFL teams in a way that scores fantasy points. To be fair, underrated. I think the DLF YouTube channel shouted that out way before it happened as well and said you should go add him to trades you're trying to make. Really good call. And James Cook, like, guys, come on, he's for me. It's just not happening.
This is the same thing as having Devin Singletary back there, and also not to mention Zach, who's the running back one.
Yeah, Josh Allen. He wears number 17.
Josh Allen's the running back one. Equity loan. Brands gave up an early second for Moore. Steep price tells me he wanted him. He's wanted and respected. Has a chance to be Watson's number one target. Many good wide receivers will go on in the second this year.
The Bears gave up the highest second round pick last year for Claypool. It doesn't make him any better.
Did I misread? I thought they paid pick 66 for him.
I don't know.
Because that's not a second.
But yeah, Claypool. Yeah. Elijah Moore got hurt though. It's not worth a fight at this point. Andrew Carlson, no way I would pay that for a wide receiver with an ACL. I'd rather that than a wide receiver without an ACL. Think about it. No, I'm kidding. Who doesn't have an ACL? Am I missing something?
The Jets traded Elijah Moore and a third for the Browns' second. So
yeah, it's positive, but I don't think the pick at me. I think we're peering at it a little too high. I mean, it's not negative; it's kind of positive, but it's not.
I know
doesn't mean he's going to hit.
I'm by no means a writer in any way, shape, or form, but I just opened an article, and the first sentence starts with "in the end." I don't think that's what you do. That's not how you do that.
You start at the beginning and go back to the end repeatedly throughout the narrative, if I remember right. That's how you tell a story best.
I'm not watching a Tarantino movie. That's not how this works. Sorry, I needed.
That's not how any of this works.
I scrolled up and down to make sure I didn't jump in and at the bottom somehow.
You know what they put on their fries? Mayonnaise. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've given up. And what's the likelihood of
I just
Lamar
called it
leaving?
Le Big Mac.
And want to trade for Bateman, but nervous about the uncertainty with Lamar. I'd rather him have Lamar. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Bateman without Lamar is worse. Because Lamar's good, but I don't know. Is ultimately, I don't think there's anything we can guess and use and say. Therefore, I got it right or wrong. But I honestly don't think we have a good way of knowing. We're not in the room. We're not part of the deal. And honestly, anything could happen. Because it's just people making decisions, and they can make any decision they want, unless you believe in predetermined theories, like there being no free will and shit. But when I don't know why I went into this.
Way too deep for this.
We're not going to game theory out the universe and figure it out. Is ultimately so you just have to bet on the player that you think is good, and I think Bateman is good. So
but also, if Lamar does leave, there's going to be hella compensation to pay. So
yeah, they get 2 firsts.
Yeah, so like they'll do something with that, then the Ravens will compete.
My general default is they're probably staying with the same team, but it has been different over the last few years. NFL's getting a little more spicy with the trades, but that is a hefty price. Anyone get anything better than that? Then we don't know.
I mean, no, it's
just checking.
Whatever.
Because I'm normally.
Well, I mean, I'm not worried about a guy who's worth a 2nd-round pick either.
That's fair. It's kind of built in, right? Yeah. Maybe a little bit.
Yep. Yeah.
If you can get it for that. 12-team Superflex, Justin Jefferson and Jimmy G or Devontae Smith, London, and 24 first. Simple life rule. Justin Jefferson, please.
Don't even.
Yes, I really like those.
I mean, there are some things you don't think about.
They're good, but this is Justin Jefferson,
who is
the positional advantage. And Jimmy G, who is Derek Carr 2.0.
I'm getting quoted already. This is probably around the time I said that, by the way, just to update you where we are on the comments. I apologize. I'll never say it again, I swear. Stickman87, in a 10-team Superflex start 9, we are selling Singletary or holding him.
You're not getting anything.
Singletary for.
Yeah.
If I can, I would.
Get a second for him. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. If Lamar goes elsewhere, could Huntley take the reins?
He probably will to start, but it won't be pretty.
Like, I mean, it's like the Jordan Love thing. He might be.
Yes. Will he do well with it? No.
Yeah. Marvin Cano, Sam Howell, Jameson Williams in a Superflex. Jameson Williams.
We don't know how he's a starter yet.
Yeah.
And even if he is, until we see that he isn't bad in the NFL, the answer is still very much Jameson Williams.
I like his potential more than Huntley, if that helps. Yeah. But like he doesn't have a job yet, so yeah, neither of them. What is good?
Do it.
WIF.
With
your boys, man. Thank you, Zuli the Witch, for making me sound.
What is good like with your boys, man?
I barely know English.
Peter.
Okay? I appreciate you, Zuli, though. Thank you. Hope the lads are having a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
It was a banger.
It was
a banger of a night.
I regret going live.
You should.
The first time was a mistake, and it's been downhill ever since. Mom McKenna, what is Jameson Williams' trade value worth? Anywhere from the one.
We did this already, right?
Sort of, but also well over the rest of the people they listed. Hey, Uncle Phil.
Yeah, much more than that. Zach Linton, Uncle Phil. Yo, hey, buddy. Thanks very much. Jerry, take a mid to late 24 first.
Any 24 first. You can tell me right now it is the last 24 firsts, then I would say yes.
That 24 first could be a 25 first. And I would say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hateful. Zuli the Witch, in the mindset of the Labyrinth rookie draft, drafted JSN at the 103, Donald Washington at the 2.2, which is strong, but I don't hate the upside. Catavius at the 208 and Izzy at the 211. Hoping you all may wax poetic and get me hyped. I prefer Donald Washington because he's a complete mystery as a receiver, and he has physicals that will make you.
Yes,
I mean it's better than Jaleel Woods, is what I said most recently, because at least you know. with Jelani Woods, he tried to be a receiver and he did fine, but he had the physicals. With Darnell Washington, it's just a mystery, and I much prefer that with that second round pick, put it that way. And JSN, just all the JSN. He's the best. He's Jamar Chase level prospect wise at a very different role. So, yeah, like I honestly don't think it gets better. He'll still bust, but I'm excited to see what he does. Katavius,
that's Tank.
Oh, I love Tank. He's my running back 3 in this class pre-draft. He's not just called Tank. And Cartavius and Bigsby, which is also, by the way, underrated in that mess of amazing names. Bigsby is like tier 1.
Like normally if my name was
Bigsby, little
last
I,
name was Bigsby,
little G.
I would want to be called Bigsby, not my first name. But then if you tell me my name,
don't call me Tank,
and I can go by Tank.
Bigsby. Yeah. But to actually do some analysis here, Tank Bigsby, or Katavius Bigsby, he's very versatile. I have to listen to the hootenanny. I know he has some flaws in the rushing game, but in terms of how he was scoring in his performance stats, it was good as almost anyone in this class, apart from JSN and Gibbs. But he was also doing a similar thing in the receiving game. He was balanced on both sides of the ball, both receiving and rushing. Now, it doesn't hit the heights of some of them. But he hits none on the low lights. The only real question was his workload was slightly less, more than enough to believe his performance stats, but still less than a workhorse. But you also see him playing with a team that consistently runs a 20% running back rushing share to the running back 2, and in both of the quarterbacks he played with had over a 70% rushing share. That was the system he was playing in, system that's pretty common in the NFL right now, and he was still putting up elite points per game numbers within his conference. I think all of that is very impressive, but there are limitations to the profile, including the lack of that 50% rushing volume that we'd like to see with workhorse. I'm really excited about him, to be honest. And he's called Tank Katavius Bigsby.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's do that. Just yes.
Oh, that's a heck of a draft, I think.
Okay, do better job than me in 3 words. That's fine. Don't show me up like that. Would you stake your claim on the consensus being wrong about positives or negatives? Ooh, I don't know exactly where everyone is. Do I see a big Laquan Treble or Terrence Marshall fault this year? Honestly, no. But I think the fault might be there are 2 premium wide receivers this year, and there are many good wide receivers after that. And we might get too invested in thinking about premium upside for players that play a more traditionally exciting role. So it's Jalen Hyatt. He's going to be way overdrafted in rookie drafts, but no one's going to be surprised by that, to be honest with you. Most rankers are going to catch that one. And I think Quentin Johnson, I like him a lot, but I think he's got Kenny Golladay upside, not DK Metcalf upside or whatever the other ridiculous comps are. And same with the others. I think we're going to go shooting for those big bodies, and that's just not where the talent is in this year's class. That's the best I can do off the top of my head. Also playing Zach Evans and playing those other small samples. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, Zach Evans is the one for me that people are still kind of clinging to all of the pre-college accolades and he came in as the running back 2 in the class, and he started out owning a backfield, but then he got outplayed by Kendry Miller, and then he got outplayed by Quinshon Judkins when he transferred, and people still have Zach Evans up in the top 4 or 5 backs in this class.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
He's got a top 5 ADP as well, according to DLF and rookies right now. He's like the one top 5 running back in the DLF ADP that it's nowhere close for me. It's not. He's below Roshan Johnson, who also has a smaller sample. He did better in a smaller sample, for example.
Yes, thank you. I got that wrong. Ronald Jones. No.
Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Yes,
vanilla.
Coffee.
And Zach's just like, give me
feed me all of it.
There are actually flavors. I don't have a lot of preferences, but with desserts, like I hate thing flavored things. And I know vanilla's technically a thing flavored thing, but like banana flavored, chocolate flavored, any kind of ice cream that's got mint is about the only one I can stand.
Peter, your ice cream takes are worse than your Elijah Moore takes.
I didn't say sorbet. Just ice cream. I hate chocolate ice cream, banana ice cream. I hate it. Yeah, it's there. Give me a banana. I'm fine. Or just give me vanilla ice cream. I'm good. I like cookie dough ice cream because that's just vanilla with cookie dough in it. That's okay. I take that. Ronald Jones went to Dallas. Yeah, everyone's got your back here. Zach.
I appreciate it.
12 teams who flex start 10, half-point tight end premium. Give Khalil Herbert and Chig and get Connor Mixon. He has Andrews and Hawkinson at tight end, which is good job. I wanted to get a second starting vet at running back with value in the older age. Khalil Herbert and Chig, get Connor and Mixon.
I mean, I think you probably got points there, but it depends on Khalil Herbert.
I don't feel good about any of this. Sure. I'll say sure.
Yeah, I'd say take the side that makes you happy because neither side has a big difference for me. But Zach's got a point. You could probably say there's more certain points on the side that you're getting.
I think James Conner probably scores more than anybody else in this trade, which is saying something.
I held on to Damian Harris. Thoughts on his potential in Buffalo? Damian Harris is going to Damian Harris. It's underrated. It's going to get you points. It's going to be startable. Man is a good football player, not necessarily a consistent fantasy volume guy, but that only matters so much. You know?
He's a red zone guy on a team that scores a lot of points. The bad thing is Josh Allen is also
Josh Allen's going to take a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see a mid-year from Damian Harris, which is that about says it actually. Mid Damian Harris. Yeah. Bye. Sell. Draft the players you vibe with always. Enjoy the following along with these stories of these amazing human beings. Peace and love to you all. I think that's a good attitude. Ultimately, if they all succeed, it's a good thing. Gavin Mixon. Gavin Ferguson. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. Mixon still signed through 24.
Yep.
Just got rid of Kareem, wanted to flip Herbert. Don't see him having dominant touches, especially with Fields being the best rusher. That's a fair point. And I think they add running back in the draft. You see, that's a threat for any running back, especially in this class. So they could add a fourth-round running back who has serious chops this year.
Yeah.
I mean...
But you also realize like they lost a running back. They have to add a body.
I'm in IDP Superflex 12-team draft. Should I take Cousins at the 105? I already have Dak. Yeah.
512.
Yeah, 512. Yeah, sorry. Take the quarterback, though. That's normally the answer in a Superflex draft. And Cousins there. The 5th round? Yeah, I think that's solid. Yeah. Equitable Mims has 42 receptions, 679 yards, and 0 touchdowns in 3 years. But he can block, which is super valuable in fantasy. I think that was sarcasm. He is no Hyatt, folks. No, the one player's numbers aren't the same as the other player's numbers.
He does.
Buy or sell Christian McCaffrey. At this point, holding Christian McCaffrey for points. If you're going to trade him, you're going to trade him in season when he's back to being Christian McCaffrey. I'm more interested in probing to see if you can trade for him if you're on a team that can use points, because he's in that veteran wide running back status at this point, and Christian McCaffrey will be the running back one if he was like a year younger, like clearly the running back one, and he should be. Lombardi was terrible. Was not their first year when he blew the doors off. Dallas coach came out and said
Justin Herbert threw the ball 699 times last year. How many more times is he going to throw just because an offensive coordinator? Like, you're pretty well maxed. Like, it doesn't make Herbert bad. Like, I think Herbert's undervalued, but like,
he's going to go. I think last year was a down year, and what a down year to have. That was a pretty impressive down year. I don't think the moves convinced me of that. I think what he's already done does. There's a lot of larger, more questions. That's fair. Over JMO, I kind of feel the same way. Higgins Pickens sound like a Winnie the Pooh character or a Hobbit. You just made this.
It's definitely something from like a kid's show. Higgins Pickens.
Toronto Dave says, "Hi guys." Hey Dave.
Hey Dave.
JC Crawler. Higgins Pickens got caught stealing mushrooms from the farmer maggot. We're inventing a whole story here. We should publish it. Dynasty Grind children's kid stories. Dio Jones, 12 teams to flex half point PPR start 10. Chase and the 201, and Lamb on the 108 and the 109. This isn't even hard. It's Chase.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I was still thinking about Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee and Higgins Pickens, but
hey, everyone forgets Higgins Pickens from those movies, and frankly, he was a tier 1 character. Yep. Trade Mixon for Akers and a third. Sure.
I mean, you're buying it
Cool.
back a couple of years, I guess. Whatever.
Dad,
How weird is it that there was no smoke around the Los Angeles offense? Like, nope, there's nothing about them getting a quarterback. There's nothing about them doing anything anywhere. Like, zero.
I think we burnt out on all the smoke after we knew they kind of traded into this. We knew they were going all in on those few years, and they did.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, there's no rumors about them drafting a quarterback, trading for a quarterback. They let Baker walk easily. Like, they did. There's no rumors of them trying to keep him there. Like,
well, maybe they just prefer to talk softly and carry a big stick. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know why people aren't talking about it. 12-team Superflex half-point tight end. It is. You're right. Tight end premium traded the 112 to 204 and the 312 for Hollywood Brown. I like this trade. And Knox. He also has the 101, the 110, the 201. Just flexing a little bit there. And yeah, I like that trade a lot. Hollywood for the 112 is solid, and the difference there doesn't mean much to me. How'd I do? Excellent, Trey. You did excellent. And I mean that. Cody, 10-team, 1QB PPR, 23 picks of the 102, the 202, and the 203, and the 206. Current roster is JT, Brees. Ooh, nice. Jamal, that's fun. Foreman, AJ Brown, Waddle, Higgins, Hopkins. Okay. Godwin, Watson, Tony, Bateman, Shaheed. Target all running backs in draft. Don't target positions in a rookie draft is the answer, but I appreciate you showing me this team because it's very fancy. I like it.
But also, you're probably going to target JSN and then running backs at the 202, 203, 206.
You can prioritize running backs in rookie drafts because we tend to be a little better in ranking them. They hit a little higher and they hit a little harder too. So yes, in that regard. But again, take the best player just as a mantra. Matt, 10 teams start 9, non-tight end premium, half-point PPR, 2 quarterback. That was a lot. He has Herbert, Dak, Chase, Waddle, Higgins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Akers, Goddard, and an empty bench. Awesome.
Yeah, but
bench
not anymore because you got the
risk
102, 103, 106, 202. You don't have an empty bench anymore.
Need 1 or 2 more quarterbacks? No, I think you're good. But I mean, if the quarterbacks, is this a super flex draft? I missed that.
It is 2 quarterback, not even
2 quarterback. Yeah, you're taking quarterbacks with some of those picks at the top there. Yeah, I mean, again, what you have for me won't affect who I draft. Might encourage me to try for certain trades, but if I can't get the right trades, I'll take the quarterback. And S. So far, my draft is Dak, Brees, CD, Lamb, CD, Smith, GJ, and Kirk. I think that's solid. You went running back there at Brees, but honestly, yeah, I think that's solid. Brees has got the potential to meet that value. CD, Smith. Yeah, looks good. Part 2 of 2. Trade offers in my inbox. Which one was this? This is when he was asking if he should take the quarterbacks, essentially. The 202 and the 204 for Najee.
Yes.
Yes, no, Najee.
Easily.
Najee. Which is how you say it when you accept that trade. Yes, please, sir. I would like Najee. Wow, that was deep. The 106, the 209, and a 24 first, and my second for Devontae Adams and ETN. That's a little tricky. 6. I don't know. I don't have any thoughts off the top of my head. The 6 in a 2QB is a really good pick.
So, no, you don't do that one because the next one is Higgins, the 106, and the 202 for Jefferson. And
do that that's the answer. There you go. There's my out. I would do that.
There's too many times we're okay trading away T. Higgins in this show, and I don't like it.
I'm sorry. I just have a mirror behind me. I don't have T. Higgins, so I can just be like.
And therefore, I accept all the
don't
T.
watch
Higgins.
T. Not this show. Don't watch.
Shield his eyes. Cuddy French, perfect. So
Yeah,
high
love
opportunity
that.
for Waller. Yep.
Yep.
So for London, the 202. Good job.
Love it.
good
No,
job,
that's a good. You may regret it when Pollard scores, but like in the long term, you're gonna like it a lot.
And to be clear, if anyone's like, I couldn't get London, Cuddy didn't just get this trade. You don't just find out you can trade for London. He was sending it, I would imagine, sending out trade offers on players like London that you think are young and good and on a good value career arc. And he found someone that was really interested in Tony Pollard. Like he sent offers. The John Bosch rule. That's the best way to get trades done. He sent offers. Or is that the Russ Fisher rule? I was just trying to talk to someone about someone that wasn't you two. And I only know 3 people, so it's difficult. Gavin Ferguson, I think this Tennessee offense is such a mess. Well, yeah, the trade AJ Brown. Yeah. I was just trying to reconstruct the roster in my head. And Chig is the best value.
They have a brand new team coming together because they just got a new GM, new offensive coordinator, and they put.
Hopefully, they're on a come up. They traded AJ Brown. Derrick Henry's coming to the end. You'd imagine. So yeah, it's meant to be bad. Perhaps the best consolation though. Hopkins put Buffalo Soldier on IG story.
So he likes Bob Marley. What's the point?
I do love the social media stuff because that may well be a thing, and he's clearly tipping his hat. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But it's fun. Thank you for letting me know. I don't have an Instagram, I don't believe, so I wouldn't know otherwise. Sean, I'm in a draft where everyone is fading point scorers. Don't you love that? He drafted Hurts. Nice. Fields, Eckler. Okay, yeah. Chubb, Cup, Adams, Godwin, and Kelsey. Again, at the right AEP, they're all good picks. Kelsey is
You'll feel great after you win this year.
You said the same thing to me, Russ.
Don't lose focus. You're trying to win this year. And make it happen because that's the way that pays off. You sell out for it a little bit. And then you use those lead dues to pay the next few leagues where you're trying to work a little more value into your roster. Zuli the Witch, appreciate the work you all are doing to helping us save as much fun as we can with this hobby. Appreciate you being here to let us do it, man.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
For sure.
Marvin Cano, silly question, no such thing.
First.
I've heard so. 1 random first or 10 threes?
A first.
Yeah,
the first.
They don't.
It doesn't have to be random. You can tell me it's the 112, or I guess the 110, or 3 or 10 thirds. And the answer is still the first.
Hey dudes, where would JSM rank if he was in the 2021 rookie draft? That's interesting. Because I got some things wrong about 2021. It's a Jalen Reagor year, right? And Chase?
No, that's 2020. 21 was Chase. So Chase, Waddle, Devonta.
He would have been probably 2nd or 3rd for me. No.
Chase,
well, hold on. I can actually tell you.
Yeah, you have numbers in front of you.
I have the for Peter. So I had Chase. So he would have been just ahead of Devontae Smith for me. So he would have been 3rd because I had Rondell Moore ranked high, but you didn't have to draft Moore there. So he would have been my 2nd drafted, but 3rd graded. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, but I'm used to disagreeing with my own model, so it might be a thing.
Well, no, I just it's
Chase
not even it's not even disagreeing with my own model. It's disagreeing with or taking advantage of consensus ranks.
Yeah. I get
like I did with Justin Jefferson at the 109 or 110.
Yeah. Show off.
All
right. I don't have my rookie ranks available, but I can look at my model scores here. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, it wouldn't. I really like Smith. It would have been Chase. If I'm guess, and I have to guess here because I'm going to hindsight bias it a little bit. I was lower on model at the time. My model has now fixed that somewhat because I try and improve, but I was too low on model in his rookie year, and I got to remember that. And I was very high on Bateman. So if I were to go back and JSM was in this class, I think Bearing in mind I couldn't profile them at the time, it would be Chase, JSN, Smith, Addison, Elijah Moore. Bateman and Elijah Moore, maybe. I was really high on Bateman even at the time, and I was too low on Waddle. So I think that's the important note there. I probably put Waddle under him, but that's because I was wrong. It's not where he should have been.
Yeah.
Marvin Cano, can we go off what would be the value if you were grabbing spare parts to make a trade? Yes, it would still be the first because I can trade the first to more people for more things and get better things.
Trades don't work like a trade calculator does. Just because you put 13 pieces together that equal a first doesn't mean it equals a first.
What you should do...
only way...
I'll go for it, Peter.
All I was going to say is the only argument there for me is that you could argue a volume argument with draft picks in general. And I get that. Like, we don't know. We get a lot wrong. There are third rounders that go off every year. And so you have every third round pick through 2 or 3 draft classes. You probably equalize the hit rate. But Dynasty isn't about playing the NFL. It's about trades and value. And I can do more with that first. So by the time you get to the end of picking all those third round picks, I would hope to have done more with that first round pick's value than whatever hits you get off of it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's the first because we're playing checkers, not chess, when it comes to Dynasty. But I think you could make an argument in that direction. But yeah. Sorry, Zach, that's all I was going to say.
No, I was going to say you need to go Google Shel Silverstein Smart and just read that poem.
I just bought 2 of those books like a couple of weeks ago for Ellie.
I don't think I know that one.
It's a poem. It's a kid who his dad gives him $1. He trades it for 2 quarters because he's smart, and he trades those 2 quarters for 3 dimes, and eventually he ends up with 5 pennies, and he shows his dad because 5 is more than 1, and his dad was so proud of him he couldn't even speak.
Which is so true.
Yeah.
I've lost where we were. What player will you die on a hill for that the public opinion is wrong? Again, it's hard. I don't find it I take pride in noticing when something is largely overvalued in a rookie draft. I don't see a huge miss. I think Zach's mentioned the best one, and I didn't even think about it. That Zach Evans rank is just insane. It's all hopes and dreams. I think that's more going to be an NFL thing, but true. If that guy gets drafted in the late first round of rookie drafts, yeah.
Well, I'm just poking Andrew in case he's still looking or watching. Yeah,
fair enough. Anyone else got a better one?
No, and again, because I think we talked about this ad nauseum, but this is a good class because we can identify. It's easily identifiable. The top players are the top players. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba's easy to identify. Bijan Robinson's easy to identify. Gibbs is easy to identify. Jordan Addison is easy to identify. The top 3 quarterbacks are easy to identify. Like, it's an easy class to sit there and look and go, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're asking who I think people are wrong on, so that's the best I got right now. The first, some people worried about RAS score is sub 9. Again, I can't speak to a process that's not mine, but I can explain why it's part of my process. So,
unless we're talking tight end, I'm not worried about RAS score.
That's fair. Tight end matters quite a lot. What do you think JSN ranks among Olave, Wilson, and London? If it was a rookie draft, I'd have JSN over all of them. He's easier to identify. Really is. Right now, the values matter. And Olave and Wilson are clearly top 12 wide receivers. And Dynasty Superflex drafts are drafted in the first round. London should be. And JSN is a maybe. Now, I like standing on hills and letting the world burn down around me, so I'll say JSN, easy, even now. But you shouldn't do that with your dynasty teams because value exists and is real, and we're not actually out here throwing haymakers thinking we're all smarter than everyone else. I just pretend to do that so that people like my tweets. That's ultimately the answer. I'll say JSN, but the honest truth is we shouldn't behave that way in most leagues, in my opinion. And S. I got the 207 and the 204 for Thielen and LaVisca.
Yeah, that's
I'm sad to see how Anthony falls, but I'm not sad for him. He's had a great career and he's going to do do things for another team now. It's probably a happy time for him. But that value is fair. Yeah. It was Superflex. That's even better because the picks are worth more at skill positions that far down. Talking to Genie. Just joining, but is JSN at the 102 in Superflex condonable?
That's bold.
I'd rather trade back to get value, but
if you couldn't trade back, you'd take the quarterback, though, right? That's probably where I'm locked in, and I hate it. But
to me, in a Superflex league right now, the 102 is Anthony Richardson because this is fantasy, not reality.
Right.
And you're going to hear me.
You've got two quarterbacks that probably should go above him, right, as well, assuming draft capital. You got Stroud and Young. So, JSN Ford in that format.
I'd say 105 is probably JSN.
Chris Gifford. This is my inbox right now. I have Hurts and DeAndre Smith. I get Goff and JMO, Justin Jefferson, and a 24 first. Hurts, Smith. I mean, that's a big trade down at quarterback. And you'd have to send Smith too. But you get Jefferson.
That's 24 first. I
rework that. I don't think I'm getting the deal.
Hurts and Smith, but
I want Jefferson, but I want to keep.
You want Jefferson, but that's too much. That's too many pieces.
Hurts is almost as much of a positional advantage as Jefferson is.
I mean, actually, you could argue bigger. You're right. My immediate reaction is I think I rework this. There's too much going on in it, and I think you can get a better deal done. So that's where I'm at. I can't screw this up, except decline the count, especially if it's really important that you don't get it wrong. Stick with Hurts and Smith at this point. Yeah, that's where the risk is. 224 first and 25 first, in my opinion, Chris. Yeah, you see, the deal's just not quite there. I think you simplify. I think simplify instead of adding more to one side or the other is a better way of doing it in general. But thanks for having a conversation. 105 Alvin Kamara and for 109 and DJ Moore. Superflex would matter to this. If it's Superflex, I think that 109 is more valuable. Alvin Kamara is... I don't know, honestly. I think I want the 105. That's my favorite thing in this trade.
Especially in a Superflex.
And especially in a Superflex because it's more valuable.
If it's one quarterback, I probably just take DJ Moore.
Yeah,
but if it's Superflex,
I'm with you on that.
Yep, I think that's what my brain's trying to work out here
right now.
Yeah.
I'm like falling asleep sitting here. I need to go to bed.
I'm at that.
Yep, we're still an hour behind, so I would. Thanks,
Everybody.
Russ.
Good night, Russ. I got about 15 minutes left in me before I got to go.
No problem, man. Jet when you got it. Chris, I would hold till you get more, bro. I think that trade's fairly good. So far, my draft is Dak, Brees, CD. I think we went over this. Yeah, I think it's really solid. I think maybe you could have went with two wide receivers or a tight end. You take, again, with drafts, you try to take the best player, the one you think is going to score the most points and have the most value quicker. It's the same in startup drafts as in rookie drafts. I think Kittle might have been a better pick than a few of those you got because he's such a positional advantage. But I think he did solid. And locking in that second quarterback is important in a startup draft. It means you can't fully value out, if you know what I mean. You're not rebuilding next year because you lock that in. Mark Andrews was kind of midi with Hunt.
Yeah, but that was after he hurt his knee and his shoulder.
He also got
Yeah.
He'll go up the targets. That's what we think good players do. So, he's got to be able to do that when there isn't an ideal situation. Even DeAndre Hopkins had a down year for him with bad quarterback play. It does happen. There is an intermix there. But you notice the rest of his career has still been pretty good because situations change. Players who can co-op volume are kind of what we're trying to focus. I think two tight ends in this year's draft are really good. Good chance to be top 5 as rookies. Trade Andrews, Kittle away for the farm. Draft one of them. You can try and draft those quarterbacks, but don't make plays on they have to hit in order for it to work out, if you know what I mean.
So I won't trade Andrews Kittle to go get rookies and hope they are top 5 tight ends.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that there's a potential for a couple of these tight ends to be really good.
There's some good ones. Yeah.
And there's some really fun athletic profiles. Like Darnell Washington, and I know, Peter, I said this the other day in our DM, every now and then will flash and you're like, holy, that's Gronk. But he also only had 23 targets. So it's different than seeing Gronk coming. This is like you have to squint, and like he's got the athletic profile, and like he could be, but there's also a potential that a team says, hey, you're really good at setting the edge and you're really good at pass blocking, so we're going to draft you to do that. And so you already know what Andrews, what Kittle are. You got a positional advantage there. If you can get a positional advantage at another position and, scattershot tight end, like, fine, do that. But don't count on rookie tight ends to come in and be that. Make those be your lottery tickets.
Nice. Equity, whatever. I agree. And like people like JMO with Judy Pickens, Ayuk, wide receivers like running backs was Swift was left, but quarterbacks it was like Kirk and Geno Metcalf, guys like that maybe. Pickett, but I don't know if you're all right about it. Yes, sorry, I can't decode that one, man. Equity loans. Kincaid's really interesting. Early look, but I think Kincaid's a really interesting prospect for me.
Yeah, he's fine. I don't think I'd get too into Kelsey comps, but
oh no, yeah, sorry, I hadn't gotten that far. Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, he's versatile, real quick transition to a runner post catch. Will add yards after catch. Good contact balance post catch. He's got very good hands, both on throws downfield and in traffic, but I do think he struggles to separate in the mid-range area. So he's either like a screen or down the seam, and that's what he does. He's not like Kelsey. The really great thing about Kelsey is he is open on every play. It does not matter. Like if you watch the Chiefs at all, Kelsey will run slants, he'll run crosses, he'll run hooks, he'll run curl. Like he's always open. And I don't necessarily see Kincaid as that type of separator. He gets too close to defenders in zones and just sits, which is not something that you love. And I think that he comes off blocks too early too. So like, again, he's good. That's not to denigrate Kincaid. I think he's really good. Kelsey is in another stratosphere.
I like Kincaid a lot. Right now, it looks like my tight end too, but I'm nowhere near being able to say that fully. And what I would say is try not to make comps to singularly unique players. And Kelsey's one of them. And yeah. I mean, it's just always gonna. It's hard to find one in a million when you're already holding one in a million. Corey, thanks for the input, guys. My thoughts exactly. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. No problem here. That's what we're here for. We're a soundboard, and you can even disagree if we do disagree. But at least we'll give you an alternate opinion with hopefully some process to back it up. And we'll talk it out. Can we talk about this more?
We did.
I feel like we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Gentry, for being such an active chat member, by the way. Filling people's time while we struggle to get to the comments. Neil, how much of an overpay is Waddle for the 104? 12-team PPR Superflex, which does matter, start 10. Normally, I'd say you're crazy because it's one pick for a player that should be worth multiple, but we're this close to the draft, we're this far into the process. A top 4 pick is a little different, especially in a Superflex. You could easily get a quarterback, which just beats other positions in general outside of like Jefferson and Chase. So honestly, not bad. I hate myself for it. I normally don't like saying yes to Waddle trades, but yeah, that's it. Am I too far off on that, Zach? About right?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's close. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you take the quarterback, I guess.
Yeah, it's rough.
But it's I hate giving up Waddle, but I guess you take the quarterback. Man.
Yeah. No problem, man. Thanks for talking. Daniel Jones better the consensus than Cousins because of his legs. For fantasy, I don't like quarterback valuation. I feel like Cousins' play is better, but I think you can make a points argument. Yeah.
Pretty similar scoring.
Oh, really?
I take whichever one is cheaper.
Garrett Wilson was really good with 4 really bad quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, ideally, that's what good players do. Fair
yeah,
play.
Now he's trying to make him Josh Allen, which is like again.
Don't run out to extremes. There's no
unicorns are fun, but they're unicorns.
It's okay to accept that, too. I mean, it helps you value Josh Allen where he should be, if nothing else. Or Travis Kelce. That's why you can still trade for him, even though he might only have a year. Screw that.
Yeah.
It's Travis Kelce. It's just different. Check your Google machines and see who in history had a year like Daniel Jones.
That's what I was saying. He's running it out to Josh Allen, but he's not Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He's fine, but
nowhere close. But for points, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Grant G, hi all, 12 teams will flex, get Debo, give the 112. Yes, I think the 112 plus stuff gets me. I would take the Debo side, most deals, but you are getting a couple seconds there. But yeah, it's just Debo. Or the 110 and the 207. I think either side's fine. I would probably rather give up fewer second-round picks because the 10 and the 12 are about the same thing to me. But
you mean the 10 and the 7? Or it's a 112.
Yeah, the 112 isn't that different.
Okay.
So adding the extra second is...
Yep.
Okay. As long as I'm making sense.
No,
still.
I agree.
I'm not sure myself, so thanks. Equity loan and passing, a couple beers deep. And I'm glad to hear it, man. I mean, if you listen to the Dynasty stream this late on a Wednesday, you better be a couple beers deep, enjoying yourself. You know what I mean? Gary Russell, banger of a show, fellas. Catch you next week. Thank you, Gary. Garrett Wilson was putting up Justin Jefferson numbers while Joe... Really? He was putting up really good numbers. I think that's a bad...
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Garrett Wilson did really well, but let's not do the Jefferson thing. Pick 42 for Elijah Moore. 42.
But it was a Elijah Moore and a third for pick 42.
And just to pull on my draft research hit rate, wide receivers tend to be pretty consistent through the draft round. Not that this is that thing, but 42 to 52, not a hell of a difference even in terms of hit rates. They might know that. Andrew Carlson, can a team trade back from the late first and then give...
No, it has to be their own pick. It has to be their own pick.
Yes. Equity loan, 27% NFL hit rate for NFL players from round 2 to 3, and pick 42 is expensive. Yeah, I think we're just trying to game does this number mean better or worse? I think it's positive. I just don't think the trade's going to tell you how... I mean, it doesn't matter how positive it is. If he gets there and starts training and they're like, no, then it's going to be no. You kind of have to bet on the player at a certain point and not expect the trade to tell you the truth. Because the truth is the team wants him to do something, but ultimately the player has to be able to do it. So that's what we should try. And I'm a little higher on the expectation that he can than Zach, which is fair because there's a lot of risk in what he did or didn't do, frankly. In the situation he was in. But I think that's the best way to find your opinion, wherever it might come out to.
But you're also hoping that he beats out either Donovan Peoples-Jones, who did fairly well last year, garnered 96 targets. He's not the end-all be-all. And also Amari Cooper is there. So, like, you're fighting some serious players.
No, he has to be able to do it. You can't... a trade is valuable enough, they'll make it happen. No, you have to believe he can make that happen, trade regardless. That's where I come in.
Yeah.
And regardless, fantasy is about opportunity and finding value. Moore is amazing, and I love him out of college and his comeback. See, I actually think that's better. Like, we can disagree, but like if you think Moore can do it, that's where you take the risk. And again, try and modify it. You don't want to pay a first just for the sake of it, right? So we try and do it relative to market, reasonable risk. But that's how you make for me, that's how you make the decision. How good do you think he is? Whether you look on tape or you look at stats, don't try and game theory out what the GM's thinking, because it's always going to be we're always going to get that less right more often. I don't know. It's really like,
and for me, he was in that I will draft him tier.
That's fair. And
he wasn't in like that.
And that causes the difference. That's why sure. I'm just saying Scott Barrett liked him. Scott Barrett's pretty cool. And just doesn't follow me, by the way. I randomly found that out recently. Sorry. It was on my mind. No. It's really late. I have a 12-team Superflex League with Mahomes, Allen, Bijan Robinson, Barkley, Jacobs, solid. AJ Brown, a bit more than solid. The 108, the 112, 201. Great to look at, but thin. That's okay. In 12-team league, that's not so thin. I'm too scared. Do I break pieces down? It's a good question. At what point do you trade for depth? I think you have enough elite level assets here that the studs approach can work in a 12-team league with this many. So no, I don't start breaking players down outside of trading for value and looking for market ups and downs and that kind of stuff. Is he too thin for your eyes?
No. What I would be trying to do again is take the 108 and the 112 and see either if I could get some of these undervalued wide receivers, or if I could move up to the 105 to get Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like that's kind of what I'd be trying to do.
Go again, instead of trying to diversify, add two things together and go get another stud. Pete, you forgot to mention David Bell. Elijah Moore mentioning Terrence Marshall and treble. I
didn't laugh.
Equity loan. I didn't hear it. Watch out for Mingo. Yeah, Jake Anderson, formerly of the Dynasty Crossroads. Really high on him.
I haven't watched him yet. He's going to be next week.
He didn't score as bad as Jake Neely expects in my overall review, but I haven't ranked him or anything yet. But yeah, good name. Apparently, I don't know. Jake actually tends to know what he's talking about. A little bit, mostly about golf, but still. Justin Goldman, trade the 104 and the 110 for JT in the 1 QB league. 104 and 110. 1 QB league, that's Addison and a running back.
I don't
hate
that.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. I don't know what this means, Neil, but I really appreciate it because you're our only one.
Subscribed. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you. Local liability. Would you guys take a clone of yourselves to bed?
No. I don't even want to be around me.
That's if I could distance myself from myself just in conversation, I would be pretty happy. So no, we're not getting that intimate. And Josh Allen can't keep taking damage. I mean, all players, unfortunately, in the NFL are going to take damage. That comes down to rushing style, which is not something I can comment on the best. I don't want to predict the end. I do think that's why a lot of players in Superflex are ranking him below Mahomes. I think that's a justification. And honestly, I don't think they're any better at predicting how much damage or injuries occur than anyone else. So, yeah, I think that's largely exaggerated. Most of the worst injuries happen in pocket while passing, not while rushing. And there isn't any conclusive evidence to show that rushing is actually more dangerous. Rushing style can factor into the. Again, it's multifaceted. There's no one clear answer. And honestly, I'm just taking the under on it as long as I've got Josh Allen level upside. But it's a fair concern.
I wish I could find there was a tweet. I don't remember who posted it. That listed out the running quarterbacks over the last 30 years and their average length of career, and it was the good running quarterbacks have a career just like the good pocket quarterbacks. Like it's just
again, and then you've got Tom Brady exaggerating the average of those that are passing. Like Drew Brees is a more normal cycle, and even he played for an exceptionally long time. Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, sorry. I think I skipped over that one, Neil. 12-team PPR Superflex start 10. Give Waddle for the 104. We talked about this one. We're good. The roster doesn't change my opinion on it.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. I have 3-year-old twins and work 3 jobs. Man, that's rough, but way to hustle, man. And only me time I get to negotiate Wednesday night.
Wait, appreciate you spending that with us, man.
I especially appreciate you burning that. Wow. That means a lot, man. Thanks very much. And good luck, man. That sounds like a grind for real. I'm familiar. And it's rough. Enjoy yourself. Benjamin, 103, Russ, and the 24 first in the range of Burrow. 103 and Russ. 2 quarterbacks plus a first. It's not terrible. I think Russ is a little bit of a bounce back potential as well.
Yeah.
I think I just keep Burrow. I default to the singular asset, roll it all up into one in most cases.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's a lot to give up for Burrow, but I don't mind getting the sure thing. Like, I think you're hoping in Russ and you're hoping in Stroud, Young, or Richardson, as opposed to Burrow, who you know is going to be a top 6 quarterback for.
Yeah, I think the Jefferson rule apply. I mean, Burrow isn't the Jefferson quarterback position, but a similar logic of, if you can trade for the, like Zach called it, a surer thing for reasonable value, just kind of do that. Yeah. Cuddy French, and you can dip if you need to, by the way, Zach. Thanks for the input. Because I'm not surprised if you'd be wearing down. And you got to go to work in like 3 hours. I should add that.
It's like 3.5.
Trading,
it's like 3.5.
It's fine then. After trading away Pollard for London and the 202, should I target running back Gibbs at the 102? Again, don't draft someone based on what your team needs. What does Russ say? Draft for value, trade for need.
That's the one.
Again, that's going to be the core of my answer here, no matter what it is. Value deep at wide receiver, not sure. Jason starts over JB and Waddle. That's fair, but trades are possible. At the 102, Gibbs is an honest consideration. We still haven't seen the draft. He could easily get there, but I think you're just taking JSN. Or you're trying to trade back, man, at a good value. It's okay to trade for need, so you can move back from the pick that you have to try and get the running back that you want from this class, or trade for running backs that are actively in the league. That's the way to approach it as a default. It's your team. Higgins or Hopkins as a rookie? As a rookie? Like if Hopkins was a rookie this year, he'd be the
Hopkins.
One. Yeah.
Over Higgins, yeah.
Like Russ is gone now. We don't have to keep up the trade him.
But he likes Hopkins too, because Hopkins
we like Higgins
a big Clemson wide receiver as well. That's
true.
Brand.
He was the original, but no, Hopkins just better. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mike M, thinking of getting rid of Diggs. I was thinking about we can't do this because we're late in time, but I was thinking about Hopkins a lot. Like everyone refers to Devontae Adams or even Michael Pittman or even Russ did early, Devontae Parker as that slower breakouts. But Hopkins, I think, is the one people miss because that was slower, and we had to work hard that first offseason after that year with Andrew Johnson. Like I think that's something we miss about what we have to expect even from elite players sometimes. That there's this range where the elite players can have a down but not terrible rookie. But anyway, I'm thinking about that a lot today. I'm thinking getting rid of Diggs.
He had 800 yards.
Yeah, but
it wasn't like
I remember experiencing the season, there was a lot of... I remember the clip where he didn't go for the ball. Yeah. You remember that? And they were like, he doesn't have the spirit. And we had to fight a lot of that Hopkins ain't it noise.
Yeah.
And again, the thresholds were met. It wasn't Justin Jefferson or Waddle and Chase. Like, not all elite prospects jump out to that start. That's what I was thinking of. I really want Drake London. Solid goal. And what should I try to obtain along with London after I being done? I don't think you're being done at all. I think Drake London's a really good target. I think Diggs, you have to add to Diggs to get London on average, actually. In most leagues, I think the young player who just had a positive season, despite the ADP and JJ Zacharyson and everyone else pointing out he should be up there with, I think most people rostering London will probably hold the younger player than just take Diggs straight up, unless they're on a very competitive roster and they're angled towards, I'm going to compete right now. And then they might take that surety of points. So honestly, I think there's more. In most leagues, you're probably going to have to add the
Yeah.
bigs. If you can do this straight up, I think that's a good trade. Is the answer here? Like it sucks. Bigs should be more valued than that, but Dynasty, and we value age, unfortunately, because we're fearful folk. Okay, there you go. In Superflex, thoughts on Heineke? Honestly,
he's another one of those quarterbacks that you throw in the back end of your roster and hope that he plays a couple of weeks.
What's Bridgewater doing these days? No, I'll add him too if I can. The 102 for me is whichever QB goes first. Yeah.
See, and I don't even think necessarily it matters like draft order, because it only takes one team to, like, again, if Carolina drafts Stroud, that doesn't change Stroud's evaluation for me. The fact that he got first round capital, the fact that a team spent an early pick on him, that's what matters. And the same thing with Richardson, the same thing with Young.
I think top 12 matters, not necessarily
top 12 or
9.
top 15, but yeah. But again, you're moving up to take those quarterbacks, so that sort of thing matters. But it doesn't change my evaluation of them, if that makes sense. So, like, if all three go in the top 15, it doesn't change my evaluation of them at all. And Richardson, even though, and I'll talk about this, Genji, tomorrow on the Dynasty Dummies Rookie Hootenanny.
Records live, by the way. You can actually watch it on YouTube. They don't respond to you in the comments, though.
Not very much.
See me there frustratedly trying to get their attention, and I failed every week.
But what I'm going to say tomorrow about the quarterback class is, right now I have it graded out: Young, Stroud, Hendon Hooker actually came in third, even though he probably won't even be a first round pick. Then Levis, then Richardson. But if Richardson goes in the top 15, he is the quarterback one for fantasy football, because it is not reality, it is fantasy, and he has the upside. And just cost benefit analysis, I don't believe Young or Stroud has the ability with their legs or volume to get up into the top 5 quarterbacks. And I know that Anthony Richardson has that potential. He doesn't have as good a chance to be in the quarterback like 16 through 6. Like, I don't think his floor is the same as those guys, but his upside is head and shoulders above, and you might as well take that swing. I mean, it's the same thing. I use the same logic was with Lamar Jackson, the same logic with Hurts, but I do think Richardson is not the thrower that either of those two were coming out.
It's a solid process. It really is. And Chris Gifford, thanks, gents. Love the show. Really appreciate you saying that, Chris, especially after hour 3. I need it. It's Superflex. Thanks, guys. No problem.
It's always Superflex. We assume so, unless you tell us.
We said so. You said so, to be fair. Am I crazy for trying to sell AJ Brown? I mean, no, you can trade. It's always a good window if you. That's a silly answer, but no. I feel there's nowhere to go but down. I think he can steadfastly remain exactly where he is, John. I think Devontae Adams.
Don't
stay there.
So the last sentence, I think, is the crux of this, Grant, and I think it's where you're kind of going wrong a little bit with your thinking is, yes, Devontae Smith is absolutely a quality wide receiver 2 on that team, but that does not negatively impact AJ Brown. In fact, that is a good thing. Like, good players on the same offense make the offense better. It's not
Higgins and Chase. They're both younger as well, so you don't have to worry about AJ Brown. And Higgins isn't going to overtake Chase. Oh, I took away. It's just they're both good, and that's good, But
I happen to have in front of me too the it's an average of, what is it? 3 teams a year have multiple wide receivers in the top 24.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4.
Yeah,
on average.
I have my sheet right here with all the X's because that's how.
The interesting thing. The interesting thing that Jacob Rick-Roberts does with that is point out how many teams are not going to have a top 24 wide receiver. So when you go to they're going to throw to someone, but it doesn't mean every team gets a top 24 wide.
Yep.
In fact, a lot don't. It's like 12, I think. Anyway, Drew, 12 teams who flex, half point PPR, no tight end premium. Would you trade Pitts for Njoku in the 106? In a super flex, I think the 106 is tempting. I think it's Pitts though. Now's the first time in his career I'm like, it's really interesting because that value can really bounce back.
No premium though.
Yeah,
like
it's close. I'm not high on if I was any more in on Njoku, I'd maybe more tempted, but I think I'll just play the value on Pitts for now. But it's solid if you like it. Yeah, the 106 is a really good pick in that format. So
yeah, it's probably it's either JSN or Gibbs.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. And what picks would I look for, given he also has the 7 and the 9? Again, the default answer is going to be try to trade up for the 101 if you have multiple firsts. But you're in a really interesting range in Superflex, man. You can wait it out. There's no need to make an exact trade right now. Zach just mentioned the guys I'm gunning for. I want to get JSN. I want to get Addison. I'm really interested in Gibbs too. Or I want to go up and get Bijan Robinson. There are plenty of players I like in this draft, but I'm trying to trade up into the guys. And since there are guys in that range, kind of slow playing it, you'll look for trade, try to make improving moves if you can. Or just go all out and get the 101. Thanks, Neil. Your name turns up green now in my little thing. That's if that matters. Restricted clam, maybe. Hi, I want to offer. Oh no, sorry, man. Just not ever, not right now. But thanks, Cody. If you're competing and can get a haul, sell AJ. If you can get a haul, again, it's always about the value. If you're just getting the same trade, you can always accept it. Yep. And if you're building, that's a better argument for should I look to trade AJ Brown? But that's where I'd be like, I need to make a move in. Grant Harrison, should mention that I won the league last year and competing in. Maybe I'm trying to tinker too much. That's okay. That's what we do. But not AJ Brown. Don't believe AJ Brown is top 4 dynasty wide receiver. I don't think he's ranked there. But no, you're right. He's 3 in ADP right now.
4. Yeah.
I prefer AJ Brown to CD Lamb and Olave though. Waddle is the question mark. So is Amon Ross St. Brown, but they're below him. So if you can trade back into those guys, that would be a way. Again, that's what you do. You go look at ADP or your league and how they feel if they've got ranked somewhere. And you go looking for the guy that you do feel is in that tier or has that potential, who might be lower value. And then that's a decent way of trying to approach a trade, maybe.
Or see if you can get like Cooper Kupp in like the 105. Yes. You know, so you get Kupp and then you get JSN to kind of backfill.
And again, you have a different opinion, which is fine. Lots of my opinions don't work out, so you probably should have many different opinions than me. But we try to approach it the same way, even if we come to different names. And those are the two ways. You go look for that older guy who's getting way devalued. Michael Thomas, maybe that's probably too low. Cooper Kupp, and you add all the value on top of it, so your roster's trying to balance both. Or you just try and move down a little bit marginally, or up by adding.
Yeah. See, to me, it's like Kupp, Diggs, Devontae Adams. Plus, I would want that top 5 first-round pick so you could backfill. And I think you could get that for AJ Brown.
And again, I think it was you or someone else wanted London. London's a decent target because he's lower drafted. Maybe the guy in your league doesn't want. AJ Brown isn't in the digs. He's been there forever. You might find a better trade there. But again, you might prefer Wilson. Wilson's all underranked in some leagues by some people. Kind of Zach himself. So, I mean, but that's a process. There's definitely a way to explore it without tinkering too much. I can understand the worry about Smith. I sold Smith due to AJ Brown and still sold Hill due to Waddle. You see how that's worked out so far, though? You see what I mean? Yeah. Like, assuming you got good trades, so it's fine, but it's worth learning from that. Good players can help good players, especially at the wide receiver position. I regret not holding both. Having AJ Brown Hill, that would be sick, right? But again, there's no way of knowing the future. You try to make them, not blaming you for it. But I mean, there might be a lesson to learn there. That's one I feel like I haven't learned. Especially increasingly, it's happening in the NFL. But whatever. Mike M, how much do you guys
I think we
like
did
Drake
this one,
London?
didn't we?
Yes, Mike. We definitely talk about Drake London with.
Yeah.
What's the value of Damian Harris in Buffalo? A second. 1
Yeah.
second. 1 second. Yeah.
Pretty much what it
Mid-second,
was
mid-late.
in New England.
It has to be a very specific team that would pay that for. Like
Yeah.
you need a top 24 running back in there, or top 1. He can easily be a top 12 running back. Stephen White, hey, welcome back, man. What range of wide receiver should I target Brian Robinson in the 201? I actually think I'd rather hold Brian Robinson right now, but I haven't checked him recently. He's not even being drafted right now. Unless it's meant to be Bijan Robinson, in which case this is
No, I bet it's Brian Robinson who is in Washington.
Yeah, I remember him. He worked his way into that job even after the terribleness that happened. If I remember right.
Yep. If it were me and I'm trying to trade Brian Robinson in the 201, I mean you're looking kind of in that like Hollywood Brown range.
Yeah, Hollywood would be a good one. Hollywood would be a good one.
If I could get Burks, I'd be happy. If I could get Ayuk, I'd be happy.
If you want to switch positions, you could go for one of those middle tier tight ends with that value.
I mean, if I can get
Got
Kittle,
it,
I'd want
Hawkinson.
That,
I know you're
yeah, I guess. But I mean,
or Kelsey, because age, he might be undervalued if you really want to shoot for the moon here. But Hollywood's probably the best answer you're going to get here. Maybe Bateman.
I don't know. I'd rather have if we're going up to Bateman, I'd rather have like Judy, that sort of thing. But
Bateman and Judy, again, you got to feel out your league owners. But those two are good undervalued players. Jack, Superflex 12 team, Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, Deshaun Watson, Stevenson. Nice. James
Cook.
James Cook, DJ Moore, Pittman, Christian Kirk, Darren Waller, Everett Bellinger. I have the 101, the 102, and the 102. You're good then. Already.
Bijan.
Who should I target?
Quarterback. Probably Anthony Richardson, but quarterback. 106 is going to be whoever's left over between Gibbs, JSN, Addison.
But again, adjust to who the best players are after the draft. But yeah, I love that list.
And then,
just made.
And then 205, 206 is going to be probably whatever running backs are there, unless for whatever reason your draft lets Zay Jones fall.
I would specifically say your picks are in the places I want them to be. So I can't, there's no need to trade up for the 101. You're in that Addison, potentially JSN if the league's crazy range. So yeah, on the clock, you can try and target JSN with that 106 plus a 205. Maybe move up a spot or two when you need to.
I still think 106 is either Gibbs or JSN. I really do.
Awesome.
And that'd be
awesome.
So
no problem, man. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Mike.
I was adding Higgins or Hopkins in my. Oh, sorry. Okay. Not asking who I like better as a rookie. Looking to 24. I don't know. Harrison Jr. is meant to be a really good prospect, like JSN level.
Yeah, it's probably Harrison, but
yeah.
I
definitely don't.
Yeah, it's probably Harrison.
One QB trade offer. Top 324 first. Team is rough. And had a mid-24 second or Waddle. A first and...
and a one quarterback especially. It's Waddle.
Do you guys believe the stack theory? Oh, well, if you're talking about stacking quarterbacks with wide receivers and tight ends and running backs with defenses, that kind of thing, it's not that I believe it. It's an effective strategy, especially in best ball. I'm not sure how...
That's it. Best ball.
Exactly it is... I mean, if you're playing Best Ball Dynasty, definitely has an edge there because you're looking to max your upside on a weekly basis. And so it's more about the weekly play. And in Dynasty, the weekly play matters, don't get me wrong, but you don't know exactly when to start. So Best Ball is a necessary part of that equation for me.
I believe in good players, Drew.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. So I'm kind of agnostic to team. I don't mind stacking if they're good. You know, if you got Allen and Diggs, I'm happy with it, but it's not something
I
I'm
roster Higgins
actively-
and Chase. I'm not scared to roster players
Yep.
even in the same position. So yeah.
Yep.
What side of half point PPR in a half point PPR?
London
with
Burke
Olave
Swift.
and Pittman or London Burke Swift? Yeah, London Burke Swift. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I just
If I have a bunch of rookie picks, who should I look to move them now or wait till the draft? I would send offers now because you got to get an idea where your league's at. And like Zach said earlier, your pick is most valuable when you're on the clock. But I found through actual play that sometimes when people see the clock, they don't like the pressure or they don't see who they want, and it can be harder to do. So I will pick and choose. I will send offers out that are reasonable.
that's yeah. Don't undersell now.
You're not waiting, but don't Yes, exactly. Don't undersell now, but at the same time, there's no need to wait till you're exactly on the clock before you start.
Right.
You know. And again, an active league, a good league, a fun league where good trades happen to help your roster. It's just about active league play, right? Sending offers, shooting out DMs, talking stuff in the chat sometimes, and just developing those relationships. Because honestly, outside of the big money leagues, and again, we're all going to be millionaires from playing fantasy football, I'm sure, it's about having fun with the strangers on the internet or your friends in the league. And that all helps that. So there's no downside in trying it. Gavin, add Elijah Moore to the Olave side.
Add all the
Olave.
Moores, and it's still the London side.
Doesn't change it, but good enough.
Yeah.
Yes, still London. Cootie French, you guys are troopers. Thank you, man. Assuming, man. We'll regret this at work tomorrow. That is true. But love your takes. And thanks for staying up with, to be fair, yeah, you're suffering just as much. Didn't even think about that. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Not sure which you burnt through quicker, or the questions or the SIGs. Definitely not the questions. They work remarkably slowly, but we appreciate you all asking them. Seriously, I sometimes do forget you're all out here struggling with me just to have some fun with Dynasty for a few hours on a Wednesday night. I really do appreciate you all letting us have this fun every Wednesday. So thanks to Zach, thanks to Russ, and thanks to you all as well.
Absolutely. Peter, look over there.